appreciate you so much.
Just hang out
live.
So much.
Live up there in the upper corner.
The only reason I hang out with you is because you bring me vinyl crack.
I want to make sure
I
this is
don't
live.
even like you.
It says
yeah,
live
we're
in
good.
the corner
We're
there.
good. All right, we are live on Facebook.
Oh, we're not.
To my wife about you every day.
But she loves me more than you.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Fresh Vinyl Live. Don't mind my face right up in your face because that's what we're doing. We're getting up close and personal. My name is Richie. So, welcome to Fresh Vinyl Live, episode 28, Spring Freshness. It's spring for some people out there. Us in New England, we're still battling winter. With me, we have here
Jessica Etchels.
Brendan Hoagland.
Brendan Hoagland. Yeah. Everybody back at home, we got Brian, Kyle, Rob made it in, Steve Saragoli, John Bumpus is going to make it in. He's with Screon. I got to get it wrong just for, I have to do it. I know it's Screon, but I just got to say it wrong anyway.
No, you said it. Oh.
I said it right, but I got to say it wrong. I always say it wrong. I have to. Anyway, so thank you for joining us. This is the first time I actually think we're doing a Fresh Vinyl Live up in here.
I do believe so.
Because the only other time we did it from the house was downstairs.
Yeah.
But I was like, I want the wall of freshness behind us. Oh, look, Mecca got a little shiny. Where is he at? Over there. Look, he's like got the sparkle of ray. Yeah, that's right, ray of sunshine. Anyway, so tonight we're going to be talking about things that we all have collected over the past 6 months or so, over the fall and the winter 2017, 2018. We'll talk about some new stuff that's coming out. We'll talk about new stuff that just came out. X Plus, be it Marmit, X Plus, SH Monster Arts, a little bit. We'll dabble in that. The Bandai Biollante, which I have on the floor. Steve is going to talk about the King Kong kit, aka the Giant Gorilla, and we're just gonna wing it. So, who wants to go first?
Don't everybody talk at once.
Jessica nominated herself first. Go ahead.
All right. So this past weekend was Monsterpalooza out in Pasadena, California. We had Mr. Tom Kitagawa, Ben Furuya, M1 was on hand, Shinichi Wakasa, who else? Nishikawa. It was an amazing weekend. Kyle in the Kaiju cast had a listener party for one of the nights. We had the dinner with the guest. It was just a great weekend. M1 brought many of their wonderful.
You want me to go be Vanna White?
You could.
I think Vanna's taller.
Everybody called me.
They brought some of their new figures, their new paint jobs. They introduced a new trike with a new color. It was just a blast. Everybody had such a great time.
Nom, nom, nom.
I got a new special one-off New Angulus.
Specifically made this for Jessica.
Ooh, can you show off the colors? Wait, the back.
Yeah, that's awesome.
No,
do the bottom.
Go like this. Rotate it. That! There it is.
Oh.
Pink.
Back up.
Pink and green.
Back up. Back up. There you go. Protection there. That's badass. It's so good.
So yeah, it was just a great weekend. A bunch of friends got together and everybody had fun.
Indeed, a good time was had by all.
Indeed.
Kyle could add more to it because, like I said, Kyle was there and
Segue.
Yeah, Monsterpalooza is an awesome show. In general, I would say that it's probably the best show on the West Coast for anybody that likes anything remotely like kaiju. It's not a kaiju-based show, but there's a lot of, that bring kaiju-related guests in every year. Like the ones Jessica mentioned this year were fantastic. And the fact, like she said, M1 is coming to the show. I scored a I scored an awesome M1 Giraffes figure from this Ultraman set, and picked up another awesome set of Giraffes and Ultraman for David. And yeah, having them come to the show has really made me say, well, I have to get to the show right when it opens now, because otherwise stuff.
You know, Kyle, I was amazed. I couldn't make it last year, but just from the year before to this year, I am shocked at how big that show has become and how much it's grown.
Oh yeah, I think the entire convention hall now, except for one room,
Yeah.
is a show floor. And then they moved all the programming to another completely different building.
When I left, there was still a line 5 thick around the block to get in.
So on Friday last year, my friends and I got there, and we walked in at like 6:30 maybe, and literally just walked right in the door. We didn't have to get into a line or anything. This year, we show up at like 6:05. Not only is the line around the block just to get in, around the block, it goes down the other side of the block, and then apparently wrapped all the way around that other side too. So it went like, and for people who have not been to Pasadena, the city blocks in Pasadena are freaking huge. They are massive city blocks. So it was impressive how many people showed up for that show on Friday this year.
That show's blown up.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt.
All right, Brendan, yeah, you over there. What do you want to talk about? What do you got? I know what you brought, but tell us your goods. Nothing. Then there's the door. Bye.
Goodbye.
Sit the fuck down. What's language?
Let's see.
What were we talking about? Monster Palooza just now? I lost connection.
Well, we're moving on to Brendan's going to talk about a few of the things that he got.
All right.
We're moving on from the convention scene.
Moving on from the
What did I
convention.
get? Not a lot. Mostly like some D for real. So the 54, and yeah, I really like them. Gummy arms though, little gummy, but all in all, really great sculpt. Really enjoying him. The eyes, I still trying to suss out a place to put him. He's kind of just floating around my house right now, going up on the big display piece with the GMK X Plus. What else have I got?
Descador.
Descadora. I know not a lot of people like it, but I love it. I'm just saying, I see some kickback from it, but I am loving it somewhere behind this person here. I got the Rick for that one, with the light up eyes. I know I was a little disappointed at first, and I found out I just had to switch out the batteries on it like a dope, and it just shone like bright as sin, so the eyes are great. Let's see. I also got the Skittles, what I call them, the Skittles shins.
Oh yes,
Oh,
yes.
The exclusive.
The Defos.
To pop onto Yahoo auctions, Japan auctions for that. It's like $150, but I love them. They're at my work right now. Should have brought those in. And then I got a custom Gigan painted up in the Star Wars special, the Christmas special.
Boba Fett.
And the Boba Fett. So I think that sums it up.
What else?
Huh?
I'm just trying to think what else, because we're thinking back to at least. All right, well, just for reference, last Fresh Vinyl Live was at G-Fest last year, so there's been a lot of stuff. I know you picked up the Shin Godzillas.
Shin Godzillas, that's right.
So the gigantic Shin came out, which if you look above us is right up there. I'm just poking in between the legs. So you got that.
Yep, the second form
and third form. Who's also behind you.
Yep.
The
And
GM,
all the D for reals for that as well.
Yep.
Because I can't get one, not get the rest of them. And then I got this sexy little baby over here. From a certain someone who will go nameless.
birthday gift.
He's
Birthday.
funny. He's funny, folks.
Should be all day. So awesome. I didn't realize how amazing the colors are. The transition from the purples into the pinks. I'm hot on it. It's sweet. And if you look at it,
I did get it signed by Kitagawa.
Yeah. So can't really see that, but pretty freaking awesome. And they make, if you move them around, a wonderful dancing couple.
Middle school dancing style.
Yes, middle school. Holy Ghost. There you go.
Even Anguirus is looking away like nervous.
They are just staring into each other's eyes lovingly, and I believe that they should both go home with me. But
The generosity of Jessica here. We'll see.
Yeah.
hesitation on that.
Is that G2K glow? Is that a glowy?
Yeah.
Chloe, yeah.
Oh my god, that's so nice.
Yeah. So looking forward to that. I think that sums it up. Rich has more of a cap on my collection at this point, I think. Yeah, everything else is for the kid shelf, and I don't think anything's come out. I was a little disappointed on when they canceled the Manda
and the Mothra. Yeah.
So he's a little bummed on that because
From my understanding, there were not enough pre-orders for those. But
I was in there. That should have been enough.
yeah,
That's all I'm saying. My kid should have been enough.
yeah.
This is on you. It's on you.
Just to tell it to
Coming for
G.
you. I can't fly to Japan right now,
It's G's fault.
but I'll find you, G.
Yeah.
Love you.
I wouldn't want to mess with G because he's the man that brings us the greatness.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not saying I'm going to beat him up. I'm just going to hug him and
We'll just intimidate him a little bit.
But anyway, so I also got the giant chin and the new giant 64.
Yeah. For the most part, yeah. I should have brought my smoke machine out for that.
Holy crap.
It ain't no M1, that's for sure.
No, he's not.
I still dig it.
Wow.
So should we go? Should I start bragging about the shit that I got? I guess.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's
All right. So it's been 6 months. There's been a lot of X Plus. I'm not. Everybody knows what I've already grabbed for you guys on the panel here and everybody watching because I did the reviews of it. So keeping up with the X Plus stuff. Plain and simple, the G64, the gigantic. I was ecstatic about that when it was announced because the 64 is my favorite. I went with the Rick for that for the blue dorsal plates and the closed mouth, and not so much closed mouth. But
is it a closed mouth?
it's supposed to be closed mouth. Mine is not completely closed. He doesn't know how to shut his mouth, but not a closed mouth. So, I still like it. I grew to like it a little bit more after the initial box day per se because the figure was getting beat up because it didn't meet what the prototype was shown from X Plus. And that's something I explain a lot of times to people, collectors, is like a prototype is a prototype for those specific reasons. It's a prototype, not a production run. So when you get to production run, there are going to be various differences, much like the SH Moss Arts Kiryu Goji.
Yep.
That thing looks like Gonzo from the Muppet Babies. I'm sorry, like the snout's kind of peeking down and his eyes are doing the Undertaker a little bit. So I'm like, great, that doesn't look like it was advertised to be, but I have it pre-ordered. I'll be getting that. But that's what prototypes are for. So it's back to the 64. I do dig it. It's nice. It's a big, gigantic. It's a little bit bigger than the 62 as far as height-wise goes, but the 62 is bulkier. But anyway, what else did I get in the past 6 months? I picked up the 3 Toygraph diver sets that we were talking about on GCG today. Big shout out there. They're behind us they're actually worthy enough to be on the X Plus shelves. But I picked those up amazingly with a little bit of help from Mr. James Hartman and Christine Chapin pointing them out. And just to touch base on those, somebody was asking in GCG, where can you find them and how much? I think I paid at the end of the day to get them to my door. They might have been like $400 each after shipping and fees because you have to use a forwarding service. So what? 4 times 3, that's $1,200.
Just $1,200, Rich. It's just nothing, dude. Really.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
1 month mortgage payment.
Yeah, exactly. No shit. Actually, my mortgage is we don't want to talk finances. Anyway. But yeah, they were pricey, and to get them now, I mean, they're only going to go up in price because supposedly, if I have my information correct, there's only 65 of each set made.
Really?
Yeah, wow. And that's it. So that makes them that much more obscure and valuable. So for those that are concerned with the supply and demand aspect of things,
I was lucky. I was super lucky because last year when I went to Japan with Kyle, I picked my setup for $100. That's a killer score.
But
that's just a little bit higher than what they were going for, I think, when they were released. brand new.
Yeah.
So I picked those up.
When I came to New York and we went to Toy Tokyo. Is that Toy Tokyo that we went to? Anyway, I picked my set up there, and that was the first one I got. It was the Ogata and Godzilla.
Yeah, I got mine. I want to say 3 years ago, and it's the glow in the dark version. And I paid $350. So, I mean, that was 3 years ago. So you did pretty good considering how popular they are now. Yeah,
Brian, it's actually your figures. Wait, the picture that you have hanging in your room is David's picture.
David
correct?
took that picture. The one was in my room. Yeah.
So I remember when I was over and I saw that, I was like, oh, must have these.
Yeah.
And I just put them off for so long because X Plus has been keeping me busy, but I was like, all right, I wanted to get something else because not for nothing. Sometimes I get kind of bored with X Plus sometimes, because I know what I'm getting, but it's nothing like going on the hunt for something.
Yeah.
Hunting for something that you want, going on that auction, throwing the bids in, and actually winning it. It's like, boom, Christmas morning.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, Rich,
picking
when was
those
the
up
last
is fun.
time you had to? When was the last time you had to actually hunt for an X Plus figure?
Especially now.
Good question.
Wait, bid, make an auction. Oh God, I couldn't tell you what was the last X Plus figure that I hunted down.
A couple years.
If anything, I was waiting for this one right here, the Kiyu 2002 version. I like to try to get one of each because I'm psychotic like that. But X Plus, before this release, they did a Wonderfest version that lit up, and that was going for silly prices on Yahoo Japan. And I'm like, I'm not going to drop the cash for that. So I was like, I'll just wait for the inevitable Diamond reissue, and here we are. And then, of course, the 2 days after I got this one, X Plus announces they're doing a nighttime light-up version. I'm like, well, gee, thanks. I should have messaged G. Like, come on, bro. Like, seriously? Unbelievable. But, the way I look at it's like, haha. Iso-san has figures. We now it's Rick. Hope you buy both. Yeah. But, so I was like, should I get that one too? I'm like, stop, you idiot. Stop. Limit yourself. Because...
And then he ordered it.
No, I didn't. I didn't. Johnson was like, "You sure you don't want it?" I'm like, "Come on." He's twisting my arm now. I'm like, ugh. No. So the way I look at it, I have this one. I saved $100 by going with the Diamond reissue. I'm ahead of the game. It does look nice to light up. But my luck, I said this in one of my unboxing videos. I go get the Rick light up, and it'll burn out on me while I'm doing the review. So, if anything, the only good thing I'll get out of that, it's great for recording purposes. Because when my Mecha Godzilla burnt out on me, I'm like, it was like my face when I unboxed the King Ghidorah. I'm like, really? Did this just happen? Seriously? Yeah. Because I was so excited at the beginning of that unboxing video. I got Phil, I got Billy, everybody's all chiming in, excited. The next thing, all my friends came out to do the video. And the next day, I'm like, did I just see the head wobble? And then I'm like, no, just keep going, Rich. In my head, I'm like, oh shit, the head did wobble. And that's where the WTF face came into play. I'm like, shame. Anyway. All right, before I ramble, a few other things that I got recently. I picked up the Matango Man. Bought on this is Marmit Monster Heaven. I picked this up the weekend of Wonderfest, and I was like, gee, everybody must be looking at Wonderfest releases, and how did nobody see this on Yahoo Japan? It would have buy it now for I think 16,000 yen. So I'm like, click buy. So I got this. This was awesome. Huh?
How much?
16? I think it was 16,000 yen.
Nice.
So about $150.
Yeah,
give or take.
Dude, I stole mine. I paid $70 for mine at G Fest.
Ooh, that's great.
That was 2 years ago. But still,
nice.
That's such a deal.
But
the best time to buy stuff is, not to interrupt you, the best time to buy stuff is Christmas time, G Fest time. Well, yeah, those 2 times. G Fest time and Christmas time, where people aren't 100% hyper focused on Yahoo Japan. That's when you find deals. Oh, I should have just said that. What am I thinking?
Yeah, you're right. See, now here's the theory. No offense, but while everybody else is buying for their kids, we can buy for ourselves.
Yes,
boom.
I know.
Sorry. I'm sorry. It's true, though.
We buy for our inner children.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Anyway, I picked up this one. there's a story behind this, but we won't get into that.
Oh man, that figure is beautiful.
Yeah.
So
if there was any other Toygraph that I've wanted aside from the 3 diver sets, it was this one because red's my favorite color, and this was one of the must-haves. Another figure that I did not think I was going to obtain anytime in the near distant future was the Marmot Rose Biolante form. I just so happened to pick this up from Dan Miller. He was selling one, and I couldn't believe that he didn't sell it for the price that he was asking for. So I messaged him and I was like, dude, I can't believe nobody sold it. Nobody's bought that from you. And he threw a number at me. I'm like, done. Click, click, buy. So it's an awesome figure. I think this is an underrated form of a kaiju. It's
figure.
also underrepresented in many collectible lines. I think we have one Marmot. X Plus did the Rick little extra.
Yeah, but not the size like that.
No, not the size. So I'm not gonna hold anything back. I did message G the other night from X Plus, and I told him you guys need to do a Marmot Rose form, and according to he said I must consider. So I'm gonna take that he's gonna think about it. I was actually doing it was a fresh vinyl after hours. I was testing my signals, so everybody that was watching that's watching now knows that I did it. And he responded early this morning. Yeah, me and G, we go all hours of the night.
Yeah, he's just on the other end. He's the guy.
Yeah. Fresh,
Sounds like a polite
fresh
no.
vino. Just tell him yes. Make him go away.
He leads
All right.
it to everybody. Look at this guy.
He want more dolls.
Side singer.
Silly American.
They'll buy anything.
Shut up. G doesn't have me buy the balls because if he did, I'd buy the Rick issue of that one too.
You will.
No, I won't. No. All right, moving on to Bandai because there's a lot to cover. The Bandai Biolante figure, awesome. At first, I think if anybody that did pick this figure up, maybe I think a chunk of us were a little weary about it because we weren't sure how it was going to look. They didn't actually give a picture of the figure when it was announced. We had to wait until I think maybe a month before the figure would drop that we actually saw what it looked like. It might have been even sooner. But even after I paid for it and I got it, I was like, this is going to look cheesy. Opened up the box and my eyebrows went to the back of my head and I'm like, wow, this actually looks good. Especially for a figure that has not been reissued by Bandai in 28 years or whatever it's been since the original came out, the 8-inch version. This is sculpted better than the original 8-inch version, but it's just as far as size goes, it's in the 6-inch scale movie Monster Series line. One user on Twitter, we saw this not long after it was released. Yeah, Mike sent it, where somebody opened up the mouths and repainted everything and made it look even better. But I think this was a good buy. For those that pre-ordered it, you paid about $15 initial for the figure plus another 15 or so for shipping to get it to your door in the United States. So you're looking at about $30 to get it to your door. Anybody else that missed out on the pre-orders, if you're buying it from secondary market, you're probably paying. I actually had a bunch. I sold them for for 35 shipped. So yeah,
Oh, man,
sorry.
I bought one.
Such a good deal.
Kyle knows I had them, and I asked, and it was and they were gone like that. I'm like, shit.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm gonna pick one of the G-Fest, I guess, but I'm gonna.
Yeah,
pick
I'm
G-Fest
sorry.
prices.
I shouldn't have said that.
Those dreaded G-Fest prices.
Actually,
Moving on to sports and weather.
Today, didn't Bandai release the next two they're doing?
They're doing Final Wars Gigan and Final Wars Rodan. What?
It's Showa Gigan and Final Wars Rodan.
Oh, yeah. Still,
I love me some Shogun Gigan.
Yeah, I like Showa Gigan over the Final Wars, but those are two more reissues. Even still, I think that it's great that Bandai is throwing new figures out. Sure, some of them are obviously reissues, but we got a new Biolante, we got a new 6-inch Heavy Arms Mechagodzilla 2003. Not including the Bandai Premium stuff, but what else was there brand new? I think that was really just the Biolante and the Mechagodzilla. Yeah. So it's good that and obviously the Shin Godzillas in the 2014 in the last 4 years or whatever it's been. So it's cool to get some new stuff from Bandai.
Well, Bandai also has that giant
That's right, the anime Godzilla.
Yeah, the
Earth Godzilla.
anime Earth Godzilla. That's what, 60 centimeters or whatever? 50?
Yeah, something like that.
This is a gigantic,
Really big.
it's like 50 centimeters tall.
Holy
Yeah.
crap.
It's like the Jack Pacific size version of the anime Godzilla.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
But Bandai's just doing it.
I picked one up for Dawn. I don't remember what size. About
Just big.
this big.
Big.
Okay, so
Big-
that's
big vinyl.
Like Rich size.
Yeah, me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look,
Don't
I'm going to be
You
honest.
looked at me.
No, you're acting like you're surprised somebody made a short joke on me. If I don't get made fun of my height at least once a day, then something's wrong.
I was gonna
I
say-
thought you were gonna shut it
I was
down.
gonna say,
Nah,
Okay,
man.
I'm done.
I believe since I've been here, I've already made 3 short jokes.
Which is very true. You do.
You just
But
know this. I look
have-
up to you.
I have to make that joke because Rich is the only one shorter than me.
Hmm.
And Steve is right because I take cracks at whoever's shorter than me. So
There you
Wow.
I got a
Way to pass the hate. Here you go, buddy.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, I look down on you. One of my coworkers, he's like an inch shorter than me.
Me feel better.
Yeah, one of my coworkers, he's like an inch shorter than me. He blames it because I spiked my hair. I'm like, no, bro. It's like, you're shorter than me. I'm like, I'll take it. I'm like, I am taller. He's like, let's get back to back. Stefan, I know you're not watching, but I'm taller, motherfucker.
I ran into Jessica last weekend. I came up to her belt.
Dear Stefan.
Wait, like one of those child things?
He's at it again. Come on,
Anyway,
Let's have Steve talk about
Yeah.
Kong.
yeah, Steve,
Oh.
the floor is yours.
Okay, there's a whole lot to talk about Kong. If you don't know, Beto Matali is a sculptor extraordinaire. About a year and a half, 2 years ago, he did the 30 centimeter 67 Kong. And he and I started talking about doing a 62 Kong to go in scale with X Plus, since who knows when or if that train's ever going to pull into the station. A lot of back and forth on the sculpt, and here we are. I started with him here. We started November, I think, of 2016, and we just started shipping. So I will show you. This is what the box looks like. Oh, hang on. Han, can you get the door for me? Hang on. Talk amongst yourselves. I'll be right back.
We'll wait here.
Who could have?
While we take this short intermission, I'd like to give a shout out to Jeremy Souls of Summit Kaiju. If you're not aware, he will be doing another photo contest this year at G-Fest. He will be doing 2 giveaways. I'm not going to disclose what those are, but if you're familiar with the past 2 Summit Kaiju photo contests at G-Fest, you should know what to expect from the prize winnings. But stay on
As
the...
I always say, go big or go home.
That's right. Go big or go home. Bam! I had to do that little scream there because
Why not?
I scream and I'm short. I have to compensate for something. But anyway, yeah, Summit Kaiju, Jeremy Souls. Stay on the lookout. G-Fest is less than 3 months away. He will be doing another photo contest, so get your cameras charged. Get your you threw me off.
This is clean.
Yeah, your lenses cleaned, your SD cards emptied, and get ready to start getting your creative juices flowing for get your mind out of the gutter.
Mm.
You're a weirdo.
Awkward moment number 1 on Fresh Vinyl Live. Thank you, Brendan. Anyway, so yeah, woo.
Yeah.
Summit Kaiju, bam. Is Steve back? Steve? Nope, he's
not
still
back.
muted. Another word from our
He's not
sponsors.
He's not back.
We don't have any sponsors. I'm sorry.
I got a bunch of stuff. Actually, I didn't.
Yeah, Brian, take it away.
Every time I do this, I'm like, I'm not buying as much, and then I'm like, where do these 30 figures come from? So I guess I did buy some stuff, but I don't know. I bought a lot of the Vinyl Wars stuff that's coming out is pretty nice, and it's a lot of reissues. So like this guy here, this is a popular figure. Everybody wants one of these. I think it was 100. No, I'm lying. I got 2 of them for $115 shipped. So you can't beat that. That's like, $55. And it's a nice glossy black. Not a big fan of the neck seam, but it's not bad. They also did the Howler, which I grabbed, which is very nice and doesn't have a stupid neck seam. Also super nice glossy black. So he's good. And then the big Vinyl Wars reissue is this guy. And I don't know, did you grab this guy, Rich?
No, I've been tempted, but I'm trying to not be impulsive on many, on just buying something just because.
Yeah.
But it does look pretty badass as far as
this was like a figure that I've wanted forever. You know what I mean? And it was always so expensive because it's the Hedorah. I don't know how well it shows up in the thing, but in the vinyl is clear, and then inside of him are like all of his internal organs. So, you can see like the insides of his eyes, and you can see his intestines. It's awesome.
It's super cool.
Super expensive up until Vinyl Wars re-released, and it's actually already expensive if you didn't get it when it was available to order. It's already expensive, but it's not nearly as expensive as it used to be. So that whole Vinyl Wars line is really cool for that kind of stuff. I think this shipped was like $100. So you're not going to beat that for a figure that normally would have been like $200 or $300. So, and then, I did G-Fest, and I didn't expect to spend a lot of money, and then M1 was there, and M1's doing a lot of conventions now, which is awesome. That's so cool that M1 goes to conventions now. So if you're into any kind of like stylized stuff, there are a lot of M1 figures that used to be really there are M1 figures that are readily available, and then there are M1 figures that are super like you just don't see. And you can go to like Monsterpalooza or G-Fest, and you can get these figures that were super hard to find back in the day, and you don't pay a ton of money for them anymore. Like this, everybody likes the trike. So I got that. The Miss Namikawa figure is awesome. The twins. I mean, dude, you pay $120 for these. I've never even seen these on like Yahoo Japan. You know what I mean? Like that was just one of those things. You'd go to Club Tokyo and you'd see them and you'd be like, man, I really want those. I never see them for sale anywhere. And then M1 has 50 of them on their table at G-Fest. So it's awesome that they're coming. It's awesome that they're coming to conventions.
You want to hear something awesome about those Mothra twins?
Yes, I do.
They are pretty much the exact same size as the real Mothra twins that they used in the movie.
Oh, really? So when they're picking them up and yoinking them around, that's like yeah, I mean, it is because they're about like the size of a Barbie doll, right? So, but just stuff like that. The Atragon was there, which I have. It's not called the Atragon. What did I just call this the Atragon? Man, take my card away. But yeah, that the Frank, the Gotengo, the Frankie, which you never see. The Baragon is readily available, but you never see the Frankenstein. So the fact that he was there for $60, the fact that this was there for $60. So, you can get this stuff now without having to pay out the wazoo for it, and that's kind of nice. So, and then I've grabbed a few other odds and ends, some X Plus reissues. I got the Godzilla with the Mechagodzilla head, the Train Biter Godzilla, the Hedorah Godzilla with the eggs. And it's really nice that they're coming out with the reissuing basically like a whole crap ton of 25 centimeter figures. So that's probably going to be my focus this year is just getting some of those. So I don't have a lot. My collection is the opposite of Rich's, where it's like I have a really tiny section of movie realistic figures and then an entire room of just like blue and yellow and purple Godzillas. So it's kind of opposite. So I'm going to kind of focus on that, I think, this year.
If I have to add in, you're right on that, and that's why you're selective with your realistic figures. I'm very trying to be selective with my stylized stuff, ones that actually hit the taste buds right.
Yeah. You got to sprinkle it in there.
Yeah,
yeah.
Quality buys.
Yeah,
quality buys.
Your collection room and my collection room are almost like Bizarro World opposites. You know what I mean? Like yours is like so full of realistic figures, and every now and then there's a sprinkled in. Like the red Train Biter, and mine is all completely like when was Godzilla yellow and purple? Like, well, you know what I mean. And then there's the, random X Plus figure in there. So, but that's good. Collect what you like.
Yep, I say that to everybody. That asks the questions, and there's something out there for everyone. There was a point in time, maybe we can all relate to this, where I would look at a stylized figure. And Brian, like you just said, is like when was Godzilla, yellow and brown, whatever.
Yeah.
But I was like, what the hell is this? He looks stupid. Like,
Yeah.
why would I want a toy like that? But it becomes an acquired taste, you know, and in the 5 years that I've been doing these reviews and everything, I've said it numerous times here and there, these figures are more pieces of art because the person that has sculpted them and or painted them, they are putting their own, you know, perception into that. And I think it's beautiful to have something like that, but they're pieces of art. And
Yeah.
they're on like, because I mean, like looking at this crap behind me, it's kind of very static, honestly speaking, because there's a lot of grays, a lot of dark colors, nothing really pops. But this table here, we got a lot of colors popping from reds, glowies, purples, et cetera, and you know that's why I love my details over here that doesn't have everything that's my stylized stuff, but I like to keep those all together because they are awesome.
Well,
and
they're very high contrasting.
Yeah.
I know, and everyone has a different sort of go-tos as far as colors. Some of them like different shades that sort of flow into each other, like a simplified like palette. Like personally, myself, like when I personally look for stuff, like I love things that pop out of me. So like anything, the first thing I go to is like graffiti art. Like when you throw graffiti art and stylization and the colors that they pop with, like that's why I choose some of these, because the high contrast between the pinks and the yellows for me personally, that's what catches my eye. I like that. And on top of it, I'm like, oh damn, like it's a character I know, I love.
Yeah.
And it would go for any of these. Like you throw that Biollante, you get something that just pops in my eye like anybody else. It's awesome.
There's
Like,
something to be
I'm-
said about not to interrupt, I'm sorry. There's something to be said though about a stylized figure that captures the whole vibe of the movie, but is in no way, shape, or form looks like color-wise, at least, the figure in the movie. Like that train biter that you have there, that red train biter. I mean, that perfectly encapsulates, you know what I mean, like him in that movie. That's such an awesome figure. And you know, if you were to zoom in on the face, it's kind of cartoony, and the, you know, the tail is stubby and the legs are stubby. But like at the end of the day, that's Godzilla from the original Godzilla movie. That's an awesome figure.
But he looks aggressive. Like we said, like
Yeah,
you
I mean,
zoom in on his face,
looks-
that red passion, but like his face
Yeah.
is still aggressive
Yeah.
despite the cartoony rendition of his face.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I love about stylized figures. And there's something to be said for realistic figures too. You know, like I said, collect what you like. I like a nice balance, and my balance is like 75-25. You know what I mean? So
that's not really balanced then if it's 75.
but it is a balance in a way. See, the scale just goes like this. You know what I mean?
My
The scale
collection
just goes
was
like
like
this.
yours.
I've had
My
4 hams
collection
already.
was like yours, where I like the realistic view of the figures. It wasn't until I got my first M1 Angulus that really made me look at these figures, and now my collection is probably, honestly, it's probably 50-50 as far as stylized and realistic.
That's a balance.
I think a lot of fans
They're all
like us
angles.
start off looking at the Bandai stuff and go, "Oh man, this is the most at the time realistic interpretation of this kaiju.
Yeah.
This is what I want in my collection." And like I remember opening, you know, the box and, you know, pulling out something like the Death Ghidra from 1995 or 96 Mothra, and I'm like, "Oh, this looks great, but this doesn't look as good as I wanted it to." And then I realized in order to get better than that at the time, you had to go with model kits. And then I went from that to not going into X Plus, but I saw the first Monster Heaven series that came out from Marmot, like some of the first ones, like one of them was the 64.
Talking about the Vinyl Paradise ones.
No, the actual Marmot
The actual Monster Heaven ones. Okay.
Yeah, because like at the time when I was collecting the stuff at first, it was like Bandai was the only thing in town if you wanted something realistic, aside from model kits, and everything else on the spectrum, in my opinion, looked really kiddie, really cartoony, and it was totally not for me. Like the Vinyl Paradise stuff, like you're talking about, I still have trouble liking it. I don't even have any of it in my collection. But I think Richard Cox was like, "Hey, everybody, check out this 1964 Marmot Monster Heaven sculpt. Like, even though the details are a little soft, like the sculpt itself is dead on." And I was looking at it and I said, "Dude, that is really cool." And that was the very first Marmot that I bought.
Yeah,
And
that's
then
a
those
great sculpt.
Para babies too. I mean, that was my
Yes.
gateway drug, right? Then the Para babies were so cheap that I was all of a sudden I was like, I've got all these hyper colored figures in my life now. Yeah, and
I
that was
love
it.
the Para Baby line. That line is like I will forever and always be a Vinyl Paradise guy. Like I know, like certain people like Rich Cox and me, like dude, I love those. He's a huge advocate of them. Like they're so goofy looking, but each goofy looking one is perfectly encapsulates that Godzilla from that movie. You know what I mean? Like I remember when I first moved down to my parents' house and I got my first apartment, and I would flip through these big toy collector magazines, and they would have a picture of the 1955 Marmit Angelus, and it was like $70. And I was like, oh, someday I will have $70 extra to buy this figure. You know what I mean? And that was one of the first Marmots I ever bought. And I love that figure. It is so derpy and goofy looking, but if you watch the movie, that he's derpy and goofy looking in the movie. So you know what I mean? Like it's kind of perfect.
Did you start off with the stylized stuff, or did you start?
No,
with
I started off with Vinyl Paradise. I went to G-Con in Philly. I think it was in '97, and I got a Vinyl Paradise Godzilla 66 blue vinyl, translucent, that I still have. And that was my first ever Marmot. And at the time, I didn't even know it was a Marmot. So, but yeah, that was the first one I got. But I have almost the entire Vinyl Paradise line. I have almost the entire Monster Heaven line at this point too. So, almost done.
So what about Robert? We haven't heard from him yet.
Yeah, man. What did you get?
What do you got going on, or what does your collection consist of?
Are we talking from the past G Fest or
20 years or so?
Yeah. What is your collection mainly consist of?
Well, given the fact that I'm older than dirt, it's mostly Bandai. But I have a lot of X Plus now. I'd say mine are mostly realistic figures. I am only just starting to get some stylized, kind of here and there. Although ironically enough, I bought my first Marmot back in '97 or '98. It was Amanda, which I was very interested in the kaiju, but of course there was no Bandai version, or there was no Bandai versions, was no X Plus versions. So if you want Amanda, there was a Marmot.
Yep.
So of course I have Amanda. I bought the Magma, same thing. There was no X Plus, there was no Bandai. So, because I like diversity in my collection, so I'm always looking for, okay, well, what monster is not currently here? And this also includes Gamera, Magic, whatever, Ultraman. I'm always looking for new monsters. So, of course, I was like, okay, well, if I can't get it from, Bandai, then I'm looking elsewhere. So I have a mix of all different companies, but mostly realistic and starting to branch into the stylized stuff. But it has to be something that really grabs me. But I like what Rich mentioned earlier about the how the colors pop. That's sort of what attracts me to some of the stylized figures. Like what the Giga Brain Ghidorahs. You all remember those, right?
Yeah.
Honestly, I looked at them, and the first thing I was like, I want the pink one because it pops.
Yeah. Does that one glow in the dark too?
So, well, I mean,
there's a glow in the dark one that's just, oh my god.
Yeah, and it just, I look at my collection, and like Rich said, it's a bunch of browns, blacks, and greens. So once in a while, it's nice to have something that isn't. Like I picked up the G Fest exclusive set that they did, the Kiryu and Godzilla.
From last year.
Yeah, the ones from last year. And,
yeah, that's a nice set.
And those immediately pop the moment you walk in the room.
Yep.
So, I mean, that blue pops, compared to everything else because it's just right there. I did pick up the Frankenstein and the Gargantuas that you see here. I picked up the Godzilla Gigantic 64, which is my first Gigantic, actually. So I love it. Other people, yeah, I do agree. It wasn't like the prototype, but I still love it. It's still good. It's still a great figure on its own. And unfortunately, my collection room is in the other room, unfortunately. So it looks just like out here, guys, just one room over. But the I was thinking about Gigantics for a while, but the only other one that would have really grabbed me would have been the 54, and I missed the boat on that, so I waited for the 64. So I got those and the Gargantuas and the
What's everybody's
Frankenstein.
feeling on the Gargantuas and the Frankenstein price-wise?
On the Bandai's?
Yeah.
I don't know. I got mine when they first came out, so I got
Yeah,
a very good
as
deal.
did I. So I didn't spend too much.
Like,
but
what was the retail on those? Because I haven't picked them up.
The retail from Japan, if you
They were about 45 each in Japan.
yeah.
Okay. Plus shipping over to here, right?
But if you're going to get them from a dealer, you know, factoring in all the logistics that the dealer has to pay to get the figure to them so they can sell it to somebody else, you're looking at $85.
Yeah.
You know, but I have another perception on that.
Well, of
But I'm
I
course,
just don't think for what they are that I can't justify that. You know what I mean? So
well, I really like the Frankenstein. The only thing with the Gargantua is I already have the X Plus one, so that may have been sort of a double dipping that I really didn't need to do. But
yeah.
I'm glad
of
I
course
got the
not-
Frankenstein, though, because I don't really want the X Plus version that's coming out.
Okay. Yeah, I mean the Frankenstein's good. I mean Bandai.
They're doing
one's-
an X Plus Frankenstein.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's a little more static unless you get the Rick with the extra set of arms.
Yeah, he's like this,
Yeah,
or
basically.
he's like this.
Yeah,
It's like-
yeah.
But I don't know. Like, as long as I continue to do hand motions, the Bandai one is, he's in a fighting pose.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
that's-
The Bandai
it
one
looks awesome.
Yeah, at least he's in an action pose. I don't know what that second pose you did was.
That's holding a tank.
I've done that a few times.
Yeah, the X Plus, if you get the Rick one,
I
it's
was like, Frankenstein, no.
the Rick version has the extra arms where he's holding Tadao Takashima's character, like he does
Okay.
in the movie when he rescues him.
Yes, okay.
Oh, I thought it was a tank.
No, it's
Oh, no,
actually
the tank is like the Deimos or T's Factor.
yeah,
or
that's
something. Yeah,
different. Yeah, the X Plus has.
my bad.
Yeah, I thought the same thing as he did. I'm not sure if I want the X Plus one.
All right, hey, let's circle back to Steve. He's going to take it back over about the King Kong because he
King Kong.
handled the Avon calling at the door. So, Steve, it's all you. Go ahead
The
about the King Kong.
doorbell, like 3 people a year ring my doorbell, and it'll only be during Fresh Vinyl Live, of course. So, 30-centimeter vinyl Kong, year in development. We were really close to being done near the end of the year. And some of you may remember that the kit is being produced in Mexico City. Beto lives in Mexico City, the sculptor and manufacturer, and the earthquake hit. And so we were in the middle of production. Molds were slightly damaged, so we had to start over. We were really worried even about Beto, who disappeared for a couple of days. It was scary. But here we are. So for those of you who haven't seen, this is a raw casting. And if you have your X Plus 62 Godzilla, he is scaled pretty much exactly to match up with it. We started pre-selling them last year and sold out about 80% of the run. Here's the prototype. My light's not too great in here. And we'll have a few left over to send to G-Fest and to Comic-Con in San Diego. It's a really easy kit to assemble. And it's been a lot of fun watching. I'm sorry David's not on the show. We've got a lot of first-time builders just because they want one for their collection. Getting into model building, which does my heart good. I will break a little news, Rich, on Fresh Vinyl Live. We had some test shots from the original molds, which had a bit softer detail, kind of like the old Billiken kits. So David Dopko gave a great idea, as well as Dan Miller, our favorite Alaskan, who just sent me a message that he's watching right now, to do some retro versions out of the soft mold. So for those of you who like the unusual colors, I'll show you we have a few different styles. So here's one. And these are out of the soft mold, so the detail is a little softer. It wasn't bad, but it was close. And we have a green and gold. and a pearl bubble gum that I'm not supposed to show you today, but I'm going to show you anyways. Now, the bad news is there are probably only going to be 5 of each. We'll send around 10 over to G-Fest. We'll do like a lottery system. They're actually
combat.
I'm sorry?
Gladiatorial combat, fight to the death.
Yeah. If it were up to me, I won't be there. I won't even be there. But they will come bagged with a header card. But yeah, this was a real labor of love. I'll tell you, we went back and forth on the sculpt. I've built Kong kits in the past. They were either off model or they were too short or the proportions were off. So we really, really agonized, and Beto killed it on this sculpt. So we have a Facebook page for it. I know a lot of you already belong. And Rich, you need one in your collection, right?
I think I need one as well.
Yeah, but you like these.
Yeah, that's a very nice.
Which I can.
Steve,
I have
you
no
must
Toho
be
Kongs.
getting- Steve, you must be getting swamped with requests for people to have you paint your Kong.
I am, and so is David. I agreed to do 4 early on, but I am doing these. You know, yeah, Rich.
Yeah, but I heard that like Sam West is like a professional kit builder now. I heard he's taking commissions.
I have no comment.
Bam!
Yeah, I can only, you know, those of you who know me, I work a regular job. I manage a team of 4 at Healthcare Partners here in Nevada. It's a large medical provider group. And then I come home and paint, and people like Rich know that I'm a couple years behind. And I get reached. I see Rich is muted. I get a lot of companies that hit me up to do a lot of prototype work. So I don't, unfortunately, have 24/7 to paint. I wish I did. You know, you and I will talk later, Rich. But the metallic ones aren't so bad, which is why I'm able to do them for G-Fest. Probably have a run of 5 for Comic-Con as well. I believe the retail on the metallic ones, don't hold me to the fire. Luckily, I won't be there. But right now, the planned retail price is $200 each. And like I said, they come bagged with like a retro style header card. The kits are $290 plus shipping. I will tell you, there is no money to be made in models. The molds are very expensive to do vinyl. But I'll tell you, as a labor of love, I'm so proud of what Beto accomplished. Lou, his partner, she was amazing. I really, you know, I reached out to David and a few other model collectors for their thoughts all along the process. It was a real team effort, and I'm definitely very proud. And Rich, if you ever have it, I need G's address to send him one.
He sent me an X Plus T-shirt when David and Kyle Dell got one. So I have that. It's actually underneath my shelves with my X Plus boxes that has the address on it, the X Plus HQ. But I don't have his personal address.
Let's just throw that up on the screen.
I should. I mean, if I had G's personal address, I'd be showing up at his door, looking in the eye hole like this. I'm like, figures, you know. So.
Do you reach up to the eye hole?
Oh, see,
maybe in Japan.
True.
I'm gonna, Kyle. I appreciate that. Thank you. I'll take that as an insulted gesture, whatever the hell that means.
So that's what I've been up to, and obviously I buy all the stuff. I love the gigantic 64X Plus, but I tell you, you know, it's kind of hard because I already had the M1, so it's just kind of hard to unring that bell once you see it. Someone's chiming. It's not me. No one's at my door.
Somebody's playing PlayStation.
It's not me, I promise. I promise. No PlayStation here. Oh, the other thing I got that's interesting is YMSF sent me some prototype test shots. They're going to be doing Spectre-Man figures. I don't know how well those are coming across.
I saw those online. Those look awesome.
They're not bad. They're actually pretty cool. And they're doing some generic Kongs, Sakura Kong, which are in scale with like the 6-inch Godzilla stuff. I've seen the painted versions. I believe they're coming soon. And that's about it. I buy a lot of model kits that I'll never have a chance to build. I got the new Dynamos Manda, the one coiled from Destroy All Monsters around the monorail.
That's cool.
That came in last week, and it came into my office, and one of my coworkers went, "Oh, neat, a new model. So you're going to start building that?" I said, "Yes, in 2029.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I have probably 3 dozen kits here that, you know, I see and I buy, and I'm glad I have them, but and you can probably see some of them behind me that are like all unpainted that one day I will get to. I've got a really large kit for Rich that I'm trying to get out my door, although I still have my shipping concerns. Rich, I'm telling you, fly out to Vegas, rent a van, drive it back.
He has nothing to say about that.
Rich has nothing to say about that.
Well, I was like, you want me to fly out there and drive back to UG Sakai 89, right?
No, he's talking about your giant.
I just said that.
Yeah.
The UG Sakai 89, Maron. You know,
Jessica saw what I did last week.
Let's be
so she
fair.
knows how
Let's
big-
be fair. Yuji Sakai has done a lot of 1989 Godzilla figures.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Well, I knew what you were talking about. It's
Thank
just,
you.
if
I
I
knew
drove
you
out
knew.
there, I mean, I'd be petrified to drive because I'm probably driving on the shoulder at 10 miles an hour the whole way back. You know,
the one that Jessica saw, the owner drove up to Vegas from LA in a cargo van, threw it in the back, and it goes to shows. He drove it to San Francisco for Alien Con. It was at Monster Palooza last weekend. I've seen it at Comic Con. He drives that thing everywhere. I didn't know that it was gonna like tour, but apparently
Well, it's funny because before the show before Monster Palooza even opened, he had this thing sprawled out onto the table, and I'm like, dude, that thing looks really familiar because of the paint job. And and then Steve shows up and he's like, oh, that's one I did. I was like,
I'm not gonna lie.
The sad part is if that you see one built, I probably did it.
That's an achievement.
I have one for Rich, which is about 30% of the way through. I have one in my garage that somehow Christine Chapin talked me into.
RDJ.
I don't know how.
That one's 62%
I'm sorry?
finished.
No.
That one is 0%.
Bullshit.
That one's in the box. And yeah, I'm still not sure how that happened, but it did.
Oh, I know.
And no, I don't.
Steve,
I
could you build this for me, please? Oh my God, you'd be the bestest ever. Oh my God, XD.
That actually
You paint
probably
all
close
blue
to
for
what
me,
it sounds
please. I love blue.
Yeah, right. I should do it blue. That
Do it
actually
all
would be
light.
fun.
Do it all sky blue.
Sky blue.
Yeah.
But I know she wants this one, and this one is actually already sold and going to a private home. But so, suck it, Chapin.
Yeah, that's right, 'cause her house is not private.
and
But after that,
the Monster Palooza.
I am retiring that kit from my catalog. I tell you what, that is not a fun build. It's I don't want to say I enjoy building models. I love building models. That kit's painful. That thing's just painful and a huge chunk of time. I know Jessica keeps saying she's going to get me out of retirement to do one.
That's confirmed.
That's confirmed. That's definitely a discussion for another time. But
No. See the foot? It's down. That's
the foot is down. Look, if you beat up Rich right now on camera, we can consider it.
Can we just wait? Can we just move the figures out of the way, please? Let's move the. I'll take an ass kicking. I know an ass kicking when when deserved or earned. For that matter,
I'll tell you, the problem with that kit, aside from adjusting all of your scale to paint, is that you have to build an internal structure. I use wood with an expanding foam around it to keep the shape because it will simply collapse under its own weight.
Steve, come on, man. Sam West can build one like that. You should be able to get with it. Get with it.
I have seen I'm not touching that. I have seen novice builders build that piece, and 6 months later, they have actually contacted me with pictures of it with the tail collapsed, and it starts leaning over that front foot, and they're like, "Hey, can you fix this?" Yeah, I'm not interested. You know, that's a nightmarish project. I love that they made one, but you know, there's a resin version of that kit. There's like 6 in the world.
Hmm.
Yeah, I've seen one. There was a private casting in resin, and it weighs an ungodly amount. I have a 50 centimeter scale 62 that's resin, and it weighs like 24 pounds. So I would hate to see what a 100 centimeter, 6.5 foot long 89 would weigh in resin, but they do exist, and they don't have problems sagging, I can assure you. Yeah, no thank you. So yeah, stay tuned. We'll have to see, Rich, you have to fly out here and do a Fresh Vinyl Live when you pick it up.
Story.
Yeah,
That's
you're making it. You tempted me. You tempted me.
There's
no
It's
tempting.
Vegas. It's Vegas. What do I have to do to get you out to Vegas?
Oh, damn.
Man up.
Bribe me with vinyl. I mean, the only honestly, I mean, really, see the benefit of. I know it's going to be a pain in the ass to box that thing up and ship it and everything, but there is a positive side to it. Is that I'm using my company FedEx account to ship it back, which. Yeah, it cost me $20 to ship it out to him on Built.
That's amazing. The last one I had shipped out to me was $125 per box, priority mail insured. It was $250, and when I shipped it, because it comes in 2 boxes for those who don't know. When I shipped it back, I shipped it with the tail unattached, wrapped up in one very large box, and it was $520 something to ship it UPS round. It was like 3 inches shy of having to go freight. So you got to glue that tail on yourself unless you drive it back. But you will figure that out when the time comes. It's not fun. The packing of that kit is a full day.
Yeah, and you know, for anybody that's had the kit built and shipped from you before, and you know, speaking for myself, if anything, and anybody, you know, Christine's getting one, you're going to get one eventually. You know, I don't take that lightly. I know it's a chore for you to do because you know, just knowing the scale of the figure, it's just monstrous, and much appreciation. You know, I remember we spoke back in 2014 when I initially bought it, and you know, I know it's a big undertaking. I will never understand from your perspective as building one, but
you know what it's like? I think you and I even had this discussion. It's like childbirth. Like I had just finished one, and the thought of doing another one was too painful, and you have to like think of the good memories and look at the pictures and forget about the pain.
Yeah,
and then it's kind of like having kids. Go, no, maybe we'll have another kid. Yeah,
know,
it's the same thing.
Sometimes I've had kids, I'm like, I just don't want to go through that again. I just can't bear it, you know. I want my baby.
Well, I appreciate the one you did for me, Steve. So thank you. And mine was a little one.
It's crazy because
that's right. You have the Baragon.
Baragon, yes. The
Yes.
broken Baragon, yeah.
Yes.
And he's beautiful. I love it.
Thank you. Yeah, it's like I've got all these little like illegitimate children all over the world in these.
Your progeny everywhere.
They're everywhere.
So G-Fest is a couple of months away. That's kind of
Amazing.
crazy.
Yeah, I know.
Like literally in 2 months it'll be over, right? Maybe.
Is anybody looking
July,
for
3
anything
months it'll be over.
specific at G-Fest?
Is M1 going to be at G-Fest, Jessica?
I can confirm that.
Yeah, so yes, then I do have things I need at G-Fest. Last year they broke my budget at G-Fest. I was like, oh, I'm just gonna spend money on like food and drinks this year. This is gonna be like a legit like grown up vacation, and then no, I spent like $1,000 on toys. So
Yes, Michi and Yuji both enjoyed going to G-Fest last year, and they are looking forward to it this year.
well, they're awesome. First off, so that's cool. And I did buy most of the stuff last year that I wanted. There's a few. I need the gargantuas, so I really hope they bring the gargantuas this year. They will, right?
I cannot confirm anything.
I really want the gargantuas, and I need the 54 maquette, however you say that word. I don't know.
Jessica, why aren't you writing this down for Brian?
Yeah, write it down. I tell you, come on.
I thought that's what you were asking.
Yeah.
Listen, from the list of stuff that I just bought for people at Monster Palooza, like I need a break. But
No, I'm gonna get all my stuff at G Fest. I mean, it's
no, I like I said, so this one here, I did find out that they might not be making any more. That was for a special show in Japan. I believe, if somebody knows, I want to say it was Wonderfest, but I could be wrong.
Yeah.
And then they had the purple Godzilla on the green trike at Monster Palooza. Again,
I got the glowy Godzilla on the trike, so I'm happy.
Again, I will not and cannot confirm anything that they're bringing to G-Fest.
Okay.
Are they bringing toys?
Are they bringing themselves?
Okay, I guess I can confirm that.
There you go.
Okay. You know what I don't have?
We're getting somewhere.
I don't have an M1
Wheels.
Anguirus in my collection.
Jessica has them all.
I know.
well, they like to make me special one-offs, which they are absolutely beautiful. But yeah, if one does make it to the table, I don't have.
Oh, I don't need a special one. I just need any one at all.
Well,
It's just weird. That's a it's not that uncommon of a figure for me to not have one. It's kind of weird. Now I'm looking over there to make sure I don't actually have one. No, I don't have one.
But yeah, like I said, if they do bring him, and if I don't have it yet, good luck. I'm trying to get that.
No. It's all good. All you. I would not take a one-off Anguirus from you. I will happily take a two-off, though.
I'll take it.
But
so that's good. Like, what are you all looking forward to at G-Fest this year, as far as purchasing wise? There's usually a few exclusives. I mean,
I know. I have a couple extra, or not a couple extra. I have a couple SH Monstarts I need to catch up on.
Which ones?
I actually picked this one up at Monster Palooza.
Oh, nice.
I love that one.
Haven't opened him yet, but
Amazing.
It's really
looking
fun to
forward
put together.
I had no trouble putting that thing together. I transform it all the time.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of
good for
people
you,
say
Steve.
that they've had problems.
But I'm a Transformers collector, right?
Yeah. I only
So,
want
yeah.
Showa SH Monster Art stuff, which is few and far between. So
That
might
means
pick
you
up
have
the Showa
three
Mega
pieces?
Bundle.
You and me both.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I am the queen of the Monster Arts, so I do have to live up to my name and fill in my collection for the ones that I am missing.
Yeah.
What are you missing, Jess?
Well, I haven't got the new Showa 74. I know. It was just released. I'm missing the Shin. What do they call it?
The Kamada-kun and the Form 2 and Form 1?
No.
Frozen version?
I have those.
Atomic-
I need
The statue version.
the frozen version. I need the version where he's blowing fire and
the Awakening.
Awakening.
That's what it's
Awakening.
called, yeah.
Here's the funny thing about the Frozen version. It's that, even, the hardcore SH Monster fans, like, oh, how could you have an articulated Frozen version?
that is true. I mean,
I'm like, oh my God, like anything to bitch about.
yeah, but
Well,
no.
you are going to only put it in one pose.
yeah.
Look, it's Frozen.
That's this.
Hit me up about the Awakening one later, Jess.
What's that?
hit me up later if you need the Awakening one.
Okay. And then I still need the bikini.
Oh, the Eva Longoria, whatever.
Yeah.
Longoria.
Evangeline.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
The sexy one with
I just call it the bikini version.
It's 7 o'clock on the East Coast. East been drinking already.
Yeah. Cheers.
It's 8 o'clock almost.
I started drinking 2 hours ago, and I'm on the West Coast. So
left.
It's Saturday.
it's
Beer
Saturday.
come up my nose. Hey, wait, Kyle, did we talk about anything that you recently purchased?
Well, geez, dude. I mean, the last Fresh Final Live was so long ago.
G-Fest.
Let me just cart out half of the crap I've bought since then.
Bring
No,
it all
I mean, no, I'm not going to do that. But I did go to Japan in January. I did pick up some good stuff. It was a work trip, so I didn't do a ton of buying. The best part about it was being able to go to the Godzilla store for the first time, which is really, to be perfectly honest, as a collector, the Godzilla store is not that amazing. But the fact that it is a shop, a physical location where you can go and you're like guaranteed to find hundreds of Godzilla products, that is pretty awesome. And it's totally worth checking out. Eventually, I'm going to do a video about how to get there from Shinjuku Station. That's way, way, way down the road. I did pick up the X Plus Baragon and Mothra set from GMK, which, to be perfectly honest, was something that I've been waiting for a long time. I figured that when they released the Ghidra, they were going to be putting these guys out. Oh, wait. Let me try this. So, yeah. Baragon is really well sculpted. These were all done by, I think, is it Monster Maker 28, Rich?
Yes, Monster Maker 28.
Yep, those are the old model kits.
Yeah, yeah. Like I know that X Plus like has a habit of taking existing kits, existing sculpts, and buying them to resell them as pre-painted vinyl figures.
I only bought that.
Thank God they do that. He's so beautiful.
I tell you what, Kyle, it's hard for folks like me because once you see the original resin pieces and you see what they lose, I mean, I'm glad people have a chance to get them.
Yeah.
But when you see the degradation from the resin to the vinyl, it's staggering.
I understand that. I don't have that many vinyl kits. I think in total I have built 5, and just everything I get is vinyl almost. So I get that.
I can help you with that, Kyle.
Oh, it's not a problem I need remedied, my friend. In addition to those guys and some of the other cool stuff that showed up at the Godzilla store, I have been buying some other stylized vinyl pieces. Thankfully, a friend of mine was able to go to the DNA exhibition in, I think it was in Fukuoka, and pick up this M1 that is just so like deliciously beautiful. The actual paint job on this is amazing. And I remember when Yuji started showing this, I was like, oh, I need to get one of those. And then I forgot to grab the first batch. And luckily the DNA exhibit showed up again somewhere and they did another batch because this is now one of my favorite pieces in my collection.
Beautiful.
It's such a nice figure.
Yeah.
Gorgeous.
That's what I'm talking about when I say stylized figures don't necessarily need to be movie accurate, but yet they capture the entire character of the movie. Like that figure is. Look at the face on that thing. That figure is awesome.
He's gorgeous. I actually was just taking pictures of some stuff to sell this morning, and since I had my girlfriend's camera and the whole light setup going, I was like, I'm gonna grab some of my N1 pieces and like took a whole bunch of pictures of my really beautiful painted pieces. I also, speaking of M1, I mentioned earlier at Monster Palooza, I picked up the Girasse figure. This is part of a set with Ultraman that was released, I think, for Super Festival earlier this year, maybe in April. Don't quote me on that, but basically, this guy comes with, if you buy them as a set, comes with a glow-in-the-dark Ultraman figure as well from M1.
That's right, Kyle. They also did a. You also get a.
This thing, right?
Yeah,
Right?
yeah,
Yeah.
that thing. You get the Sakishi board.
It's
The
like a
Shikishi.
Shikishi board size almost. It's actually a little bit bigger, which made it difficult for me to pack back from Monster Palooza. But
True story.
the cool thing about it is that it's a photo of Ultraman facing off against giraffes, and it is already sort of autographed by Haruo Nakajima, who we all know has passed away. So it's sort of like a signed in print version of that. And then because Ben Furuya was there, I also had him sign it because Yuji handed me those. I was like, oh my gosh, I definitely have to get this signed now. I have picked up some other stuff, but I think the only other thing that really would be very interesting is I ended up grabbing this Gigabrain. This is actually my second Gigabrain. The first thing I got from them was the black and gold Ghidra, but this is the 65 Daisenso Goji from Monster Zero, and he's sort of in this almost radioactive green vinyl. I would absolutely say that if they had used a more fluorescent or neon green vinyl, it would be better. I'd give it a better grade, but it's pretty awesome as is. And it echoes the same paint job that the Beatland phone holder does, or the lamp, if you know what I'm talking about. It's got that sort of like, instead of red, it's green. But other than that, it's about the same.
Gigabrain is so great. Like, I wish they would do new figures instead of the same.
They supposedly have a 95 on the way, but they've been jerking our chains for years. I mean, right, James Hartman?
Yeah.
Wait, they're working on the non-painted toe versions for James. Those are the exclusive James Hartman versions.
Folks, I hate to do this, but I got to drop off and call it a night.
Unbelievable.
I know.
Yeah,
Thank
you
you.
got kits to put together.
I got kids to build.
What you guys don't know is at 6 p.m. in Las Vegas, that's when the Howlers start coming out.
Right? At 5 o'clock here in Vegas. But thank you so much for having me. You know, I love doing it. I love seeing you all. And I will not, unfortunately, see you in Chicago this year. But if any of you, I know Dell, and if I think even the aforementioned Christine are coming to Comic-Con in San Diego, and I will be there for the whole time buying my stuff and having fun.
Nice, man.
Yes.
Good seeing you, Steve.
One of these days I will get out to Chicago. I promise. I know I say that every year.
Well, it was good to see you last weekend at Monster Palooza, and it was good to see you tonight.
Yes. We'll have to do this again soon.
Yes.
All right.
Cheers.
Good night, Steve.
Peace.
Thank you for coming on.
Thank you. For Nakajima.
Take care, sir.
Kanpai.
Bye.
Bye.
All right. What the hell are we talking about?
I got one more thing to
Go ahead,
show
Kyle.
off. One more thing. The last thing, and it's Monster Palooza related, actually.
There
So,
you go.
like many people, I've been taking figures to get these actors to sign. And so finally, I was able to take my M1 Godzilla 2000 figure
Nice.
to get signed by Kitagawa.
Nice.
So I have the full set. I have Nakajima, Satsuma, Kitagawa, and Yoshida.
I think
Which
that's the
makes me
same
super psyched.
one of those I have. The same,
This guy?
same colorway. Yeah. I
It's
think
so pretty, man. This
It
is
is.
like
So
I took a
shiny.
super high res photo of the actual glittery paint used and posted it on Instagram earlier today. It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
But that's it. That was it.
So how is like Monster Palooza? I feel like that's the West Coast version of Monster Mania and Chiller out here.
Yeah. So the
And
thing
Monster
that I
Mania
would
and
say
Chiller
about
out here have become so overcrowded that it's almost like this year I didn't go to the one in March, and the word on the street was, and the word on the Facebook page and the word everywhere was that it was just so overwhelmingly crowded. And I think
Yeah.
that's becoming like a kind of a thing, and I guess it's just that this stuff is becoming more popular, which is good.
sure, yeah.
But it's also not great. You know what I mean? Like when you go to a convention, you don't want to have to go outside and then not be let back into the building because the fire
Right.
marshal is shutting the building down, which is what happened in March. So, but it is nice that this kind of stuff is getting, recognized now, and that M1 is finding, and going to things, and like Akira Takarada goes to conventions, and the suit actors go to conventions and things like that, which would have never, been a regular thing, 10 or 15 years ago. Yeah. So
I would say that Monster Palooza is like similar to Monster Mania, because I was there that one year that Yoshida came.
Yep.
And the only thing I would say is different is that it sort of has like where Monster Mania, bear with me on this, where Monster Mania is about horror movies and about the horror fans, Monster Palooza is about that, but then tack on how to make the horror movies, how to make the special effects stuff.
Oh, okay.
Because they're in LA, they basically have it's a convention almost, I don't know, Jessica, what'd you say? Like maybe 30% of it is about special effects makeup.
That's cool.
They have these giant booths where people are doing makeups all day long, and they'll have somebody sit in the beginning of the day and they'll do a makeup prosthetic on them all day long, and at the end of the day they'll get up and walk around and people will be able to take pictures of this amazing
cool.
costume stuff.
Yeah, that's cool.
I definitely agree. I
Mania.
mean, some of the makeups and bodysuits that they were creating, it's just absolutely fantastic. Not only that, but they had some of the suits they created for like the original X-Men films.
Yeah, there's a lot of props on display this year.
Yeah, there really was. They had like Captain America's helmet, Thor's helmet, stuff from the Justice League.
Yeah.
But yeah, the makeup booths, it's probably every other booth is a makeup booth. And then of course Rick Baker was there as always, and that his booth alone is a huge draw.
Yeah. I mean, I love going to those kind of things. I mean, G Fest is awesome because it's focused on what we're all mostly interested in. But Monster Mania is really fun. I would love to do a Monster Palooza, maybe in 2019 or something. That would be because I've never been on the West Coast or anything like that, so it'd be kind of cool. Maybe.
Oh, dude, you should totally come out. It's kind of like a mini G Fest.
Yeah, and that would be cool. I'm kind of, I mean, honestly, if G Fest wanted to, don't you think they could do like 2 shows a year? Or do you think it's too much?
Maybe they could if they wanted to. I don't know.
I don't think
they sink so much effort into that one single show all year. I don't know if they'd have the ability to do a second one. I think it would be freaking awesome if we had a secondary kaiju show and if it was West Coast based. But I've looked into doing that, and I am not the guy to do that.
Yeah,
I'm not going to spearhead that.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't have that kind of money.
Awesome. There used to be one every year. It was, I can't even remember what it was called anymore. But there was an East Coast
G-Con
show. There was that one, but then there was another one too. Am I thinking of the right thing?
KaijuCon, right?
No, I think it's the Asian one.
Yes, AFM.
Oh, that's right, Asian Fantasy Film
Expo. Yeah, yeah, that's right.
And like something like that would be so cool now, because our hobby is now, not so small. Like everything's gotten so much bigger, and Comic-Con is huge, and Monster Mania is huge, and Chiller is huge, and Monster Palooza is huge, and all that stuff. So it would be nice to be able to have a East Coast and a West Coast kaiju convention. Plus, we could all hang out more.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the beauty of G Fest for me is being
G-Fest
able to hang out with people.
You've never done it. Like I know a lot of people are always like, "I'm going to go this year," and they don't go. Like, and I didn't go for years, and now I'm like, why didn't I always do this? Because it's, it's not hard to get to. It's not super expensive unless you make it super expensive, So
Brian, your first G Fest was what? 2014, right?
2014. Yeah.
Yeah, mine was 2013.
Yeah.
But like you said, I put it off for so long for one thing or another. I've been to the 97 and 98 G-Con that was in New York City.
I went to the G-Con in 97 in Philly.
Oh, they did one in Philly?
They did one in Philly?
Yeah. I met
Philly, really?
Rifle had a panel there, and the dealer's room was pretty nice. I think I feel like at least a few people I know that do G-Fest regularly had set up in the dealer's room there. But and I mean, it's not like I didn't know about G-Fest because I found G-Fan. My first G-Fan was issue 14, so like I knew G-Fest was a thing. You know what I mean? But I didn't ever think it was just never one of those things where I was like, yeah, that's a thing I want to do because I didn't know any Godzilla people. You know what I mean? Other than myself, like there wasn't any way to like reach out and meet other Godzilla. Like I didn't have anybody in my town that liked Godzilla. So it wasn't until Facebook and social media.
Wait, you didn't submit your name to the GFan directory?
No, you know what? I didn't. I thought about it, and I was like,
I did.
We're not.
I did.
Did you?
There's a freaking cartoon of me and my ex-wife and my little kid at the time. And what
I probably have that then.
Yeah, I probably have that issue somewhere because I have every issue from like 14. Well, no, I went back and I even got the older one, so I have every issue up until like issue like 70 or something. So I probably have that issue somewhere. But it was just one of those things where like you used to go to like monsterzero.org and chat in those rooms. Even then, those people that you were chatting with were it was a fake name. Nobody used their real name. It wasn't until Facebook that made me want to go to G-Fest, where I was like, oh, you guys are actually like regular guys with like wives and kids and jobs, and they're not like. Like for the longest time, I was like, I'm the only cool guy who likes Godzilla. You know what I mean? Because I didn't know anybody else who liked Godzilla, so I just automatically assumed like, yeah, everybody else who likes Godzilla is probably not somebody I really want to talk to.
Hi, do you want to talk about my Godzilla movie?
Yeah, exactly. Like I would go to Chiller in a Godzilla shirt, and that would be the guy who would come up and talk to me, and I'd be like, dude, oh my god, why did I wear this shirt? You know what I mean? So. It wasn't until Facebook where I was like, you know what, I want to hang out with these people. So
he's the cool guy.
And you were all the same people.
Brian's the cool guy.
Brian's a cool guy.
Okay,
not you.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Oh, I totally am not the cool guy.
No, yeah, you are cool. But like, I knew a bunch of guys I knew Rich from Monster Zero back in the day, and I knew like Mike Russo and Greg Cordero from Monster Zero back in the day. But I never met them.
Wait. What was Rich's Monster Zero screen name?
Wait, what was it?
Gojira 138.
Nice.
138.
What was yours?
I didn't really comment as much because I
Shrine of Gamera.
Oh, are you serious?
Yeah.
I had no idea. That's awesome.
Yeah, I used to run that was my website back in the day.
That's awesome. Yeah, I was Brazil.
Yeah, I'm freaking old. Get it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Early days of the internet, gentlemen. Early days.
Yeah. I was an early adopter.
This is for Kyle.
That's not so bad.
You're old if you remember Barry's Temple of Godzilla.
Oh yeah, right.
It was funny.
Hold on.
Wait. Who was on the Vinyl Madness Yahoo group?
Yes.
That was my first social outing or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
But I was on there back when
Yahoo groups were like, but the Yahoo groups were like after Monster Zero, weren't they?
No, before.
Were they before?
I think it was before.
Yeah, they were before and during Monster Zero.
I think I'm still like subscribed to some of those Yahoo groups, and every once in a while, somebody will send off a message, and I'm like, "This thing's
Blast from the past." Like Marty McFly coming back. Like,
That's what. That's exactly. It's the same thing as using Facebook. It's like you don't understand how nice it is now to connect with these people because people would complain about the DVDs when they would come out, and it was like, well, the DVDs aren't in the proper aspect ratio. It's like, dude, I used to take this crap off of TV. You know what I mean? Like, and you're complaining about the aspect ratio of of these DVDs. Like back when I was your age, my mind would have been blown that I could go out and buy this on a magical disc and stick it into a magical machine and make it play.
Hell, when I was watching these as a kid, the idea of taping it didn't even occur to me. I had to stay up to see it at 2:30 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah, I used to scour TV Guide.
If I missed it, too damn bad. I had to wait another 6 months.
Yeah.
Watch it again.
Okay, so on the KaijuCast Facebook page, sometimes I'll be like, hey, everybody, the release date for blah has been announced. And then people are like, finally, we've had to wait so long. And I'm like, you little whiny babies. No.
You don't know what it was like. You don't know what it was like.
You don't know what waiting is.
Run and grab the TV Guide and scour for the word Godzilla.
Yeah, right?
You know what I mean?
The first time those movies were released on DVD, they were so crappy.
Oh, they were. The Scimitar.
Like 1998.
Yep.
Come on.
The first DVD I bought was Monster Zero.
Yeah, and like people, like we literally got Shin Godzilla was released. I'm on a tear. Shin Godzilla was released at the end of July in 2016. We got it playing in the fucking States at the end of October the same year.
Yeah.
When does that ever happen? Ever, ever, ever.
Yeah.
Never.
No.
Never happened.
Agreed.
Yeah, I
Anyway.
saw Godzilla 85 in the theater, and that was like mind-blowing. You know what I mean? Like that I got to see a Godzilla movie that was fairly new, you know? So I know all you youngsters are laughing at me.
I don't want to mention how
was
many
only 2
Godzilla
at the
films
time.
I saw in the theater. First
I was-
run.
I didn't drive myself. I was still very young.
We haven't gotten to Rob yet, right?
Yeah.
We're all
Rob
the
hasn't
younger
been able to
part.
commiserate about
In the
age.
theater, I saw every film from Pedron.
Are you serious? In the theater?
Yep.
Wow.
Wait, you live in New York?
Even though I was like super young for Hedra, I was like 4 or 5.
That's awesome.
But yeah, every one of the, back in the days when parents would be like, "Yeah, just go watch that movie. We'll be back in a couple hours."
The good old days.
Yeah.
What I remember most,
Y'all went on.
one the title changes too. How out of order, like we got Gigan in 1978, and the movie came out in 1972. So stuff like that was just off. Release wise. That I remember that. It's just like now back then it didn't matter, but because it seemed like a different movie. But
Yeah. But yeah, it always cracks me up when people talk about, complain about DVD releases or anything like that, because you have the world at your fingertips now. Like if there's a
pretty
Godzilla
much,
toy,
yeah.
if there's a collectible you really want, if you put your mind to it and put the money aside for it, you can get it now. And like, I remember going into a comic book shop and seeing Bandai figures and just my mind being blown. Like, oh my God, there's Godzilla toys. There were no Godzilla toys when I was growing up. So I had the Shogun Warriors Godzilla, which I still have, and I had a bunch of plastic rubber dinosaurs that subbed in for other monsters, and that was it. And
Yep.
and Legos. I would make stuff out of Legos and stuff like that. But now, you
See,
can.
that's the
find
thing
whatever
is
you
like
want.
no, I think today's generation of collectors, I'm not going to say they're spoiled, but they don't realize how
They're
good they
fortunate.
have it
Yeah.
because everything is so easily accessible.
Yeah.
I remember when I picked up my first Bandai, it wasn't from a Facebook group or anything. I ended up walking into a comic book store that was going out of business, and I bought my Bandai Bachelor Larva for $10, and I'm like, "What is this? I must have it. There must be more."
Yeah.
And 1994 was my first Bandai.
So that's when I had rediscovered like Godzilla because I
Yeah.
didn't know like there was any more movies being put out.
Yeah.
Like, I had no idea because again, going back to
G-Fan
you
is what
don't
did it
have
for
any of
me.
the Stuff like again, that's when exactly when I discovered. I go into a comic book shop. The next thing I know, I see this sort of kaiju-esque monster.
Yeah.
What is that? And then you're seeing like I'm seeing, and they didn't have a large selection. The only reason my comic shop in the area that all had them is because the owner was a fan.
Mm-hmm.
So he ended up actually giving me like the bootlegs and stuff. Again, harkening back to the whole like they're spoiled these days. Like, look, you didn't have accessibility to it, so you had some guy with a DVD tape.
Yeah.
Sorry, not even DVD tape. Sorry,
VHS.
Just recording it off in a garbage one. And then being honest, straight up forward, tell me like,
Yeah.
look, the first one looks like garbage. It was 91, and I'm
Mhm.
like, okay, I can still see it. It's garbage, but like whatever. Like you can
was
fill the
awesome.
gaps with your mind because it's
Yeah.
awesome. I'm like, I didn't know this.
Yeah.
They did anything else.
It was awesome having the numbers at the top of the screen just scrolling as you're watching the movie still. You can't beat that.
That's how I
The
felt about
time
I mean,
code.
seriously.
Nice.
And that's what I ended up picking up. Like my first, like I picked up like Legion, and I picked up Descudora, and like those are the things that like it's why I like
Didn't
those monsters because I didn't have any of the fillers. I didn't have any monsters.
Mhm.
Like, that's why I jumped onto, and they're not the best films, but they're good. They fill it in.
Legion.
Not Legion's
films.
totally different, but like it's awesome.
Yeah, I don't know about you guys, but maybe you can relate to this, but did it not feel like you were doing like some like underground mobster deal when you went to go pick up your bootleg VHS tapes? I feel like I'm doing something so wrong.
I
got these VHS.
I drive all the way to Cambridge to take the T from like this area here. Go
It's like make sure nobody's looking. Here's your Godzilla movies.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
Or how about like you had to send Video Daikaiju like $2 to get the catalog from them?
Yeah.
This is to make sure you're not going to rip us off. You have to pay us $2 before we even tell you what we have.
I remember going to a comic book convention, a little rinky-dink local one, when I was a junior in high school, and they had Godzilla versus Biollante playing. This guy had it playing on a little tiny TV, and I had no idea there were new Godzilla movies. And I just bought it immediately and wanted to go home. And all my friends were like, "Well, we just got here." I was like, "I just want to go home." You know what I mean? Like all I wanted to do was go home and watch that movie. And that's how I found out there was a whole new, series of Godzilla movies. And then, and it wasn't even subtitled. And I went home and I watched the entire movie, and then I got the next one, and it was not subtitled either. And I didn't care. I fast forwarded to where they were talking, and I watched the monster stuff, and that's how I watched a lot of the '90s Godzilla movies because there was no other way to watch them. So
going back to accessibility, though, I mean, nowadays people have digital downloads. I mean, they're not even doing DVDs and Blu-rays anymore. No. That stuff's going out the window
faster than VHS went out the window.
Yeah. So I mean, coming by the end of the summer, I think I heard Target is done selling DVDs and Blu-rays. Like,
see, that bothers me. I want a physical copy of certain movies. You know what I mean? Anything that I feel like I'm
physical copy, but I want more than a physical copy. I want the special features. That's the stuff that, like, honestly, I think that physical media belongs to the cinephiles, the people who want to know how this stuff is made, the people who want to see what happens behind the scenes. Obviously, there's a ton of that stuff on DVDs. That was like the best part about a DVD, or even before DVDs, the Laserdisc sets that would have those bonus features on them.
Yeah. If I'm going to spend my money,
so for people to complain nowadays that they don't have access to a certain DVD or whatever, you can go on iTunes, and I mean, you can probably download half of the Godzilla catalog.
Yeah.
Right there, if not on Amazon.
Not on iTunes so much. Like, it's been great because like Stars. Well, no, it's not Stars. Sorry.
Yeah, Stars.
Is it Stars? Mm-hmm. So Stars. So I put up the old show series.
Yeah, they're on now.
But the whole thing is, at the end of the day, I really want those old the DVD versions of them. Like, I know it's not going to be Blu-ray quality, but I want those because I love it. Because you see the difference. Like when I toss in the Mothra and then do the English version and then I do the Japanese version, it's a huge difference.
Yeah.
I want all those back. I want all of them. I want to be able to see them both ways. I want to see them the way I saw them as a kid, so I can remember that. And I also want to see them the way they were intended to be seen too. Like I just wish that cow was available. Wait, am I one of those?
Well, that's what we're hoping as a fandom. We're hoping that Criterion releases those movies on Blu-ray, so you can see both versions. You can see all the extra stuff that fans want to see. If anybody ever picked up the very, very first Media Blasters release of Destroy All Monsters, before Toho was like, "That's too much stuff. You gotta take it all away."
That's true.
You're making the fans too happy.
Yeah,
they did the same thing with Godzilla versus Megalon.
I have that
with the bonus features.
Yeah,
which I have.
Unfortunately, the bonus features never made it to Blu-ray for Megalon.
No, just on the DVD.
Oh no, you're right. The Destroy All Monsters one is on Blu-ray. But I mean, think about it this way too. Like, I never saw the original Gojira until I got a bootleg of it. You know what I mean? Like, there was no other way for me to see the original Japanese version of that movie. I got a bootleg of it. Because how else was I ever going to see it? And I think I got a bootleg of it in like 93 or 94. And I remember I got it I got that, and actually it would have been 95 because I got it with Godzilla versus Destroya. I got them in a 2-pack from Video Daikaiju, I'm pretty sure. And they made, and so, 1995 is when I first saw that movie. And, I was aware of that movie's existence since I was like 8. So, which would have been well before 2005, or 1995. So, it's nice now. You can find whatever you want, but also there was a time when it was kind of fun to hunt for stuff, and that's kind of gone. And there is no real sense of hunting something down anymore, unless it's something like you really want, like Rich with your Toygraph train biter there. You know what I mean? Like, there are certain things that are that are still hard to find. Like that, I need that figure. Like that should be something on my list that I start looking for.
You know, I had an opportunity to get this last year, but I let Christine go for it instead.
Yeah.
Brad.
You fool.
But it was blue. It was blue. So you got the red one.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd
So-
even be picky about color. I think that's just such an awesome figure. Like
It is. I love it. You know, going, you know, but in the realm of what you're talking about, like hunting for toys, there is nothing that compares to the thrill for the hunt. And, you know, in the grand scheme of things, we're talking about VHS, be it DVDs, whatever, you know, it's one thing they have just go to the store and just pick it up, but hunting for something, earning it almost, if, you know, in that degree, it's like a sense of accomplishment. It's like, oh my God, I obtained something that is not easily accessible. That's what makes it, you know, like, I don't know, that's half the fun of it.
Yeah.
Do you remember
it's
do you remember
like
the
when
conversation we had about the grails?
Yeah.
So like basically I feel like the way it's so easy to get stuff today overall has sort of like dumbed down the meaning of obtaining a holy grail, right? Like, let me sound old again. Back in 2002, I was scouring the internet for a version of the Kyoto Manda kit from Astragon. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that. It's never been re-released, never been reissued, and it's a kind of a piece of garbage resin kit from 1985 or 83 or something like that. But it took me maybe like 4 years to freaking find it. And then one day, boom, it was there on Yahoo Japan. And I'm not kidding, 4 years of like searching every day, searching Atragon, searching Manda, searching Kaite Gunkan, searching all of the Japanese terms for it. And finally it showed up. And like, does that, like, when I say a holy grail, that means something that I've been searching for years and years, or maybe not years, but for so long and so hard. And then for it to finally just sort of show up, that's what a grail means to me. I'm like wondering if that's the same definition as you guys.
no, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I agree. I think a grail is like you've got to look for at least I'd say 2 to 3 years.
Some people were also using
yeah,
grail
it's
in terms of like, oh, my holy grail would be like if X Plus released a version of Godzilla.
Yeah,
and I'm like, no. A holy grail exists already.
Yeah,
like,
something that's already
Like my
it would be great if God made some sort of bowl to go along with the chalice that Indiana Jones finds in the third movie.
So grails, I don't even look at this as a grail, but it was a must-have. I mean, to me, a grail is something that is not anybody could just obtain it. Like, you have to go through some serious hoops to get one.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe this is a grail or not, but this was a must-have by any degree. This is an original Gigabrain Gold G62. When I did the box day for this, I told the story. I saw this at G-Fest 2013, my first G-Fest. Clawmark Toys had it. Diane was selling it. I had already spent what I said I was going to spend. But when I saw this, it was like $165. I'm like, oh, I can't. So I was like, nope, not going to do it. Biggest mistake. Not anymore. But I went for like 4 years hunting, here and there. Every time I get on Yahoo Japan, I'm like, let me see if there's any Gigabrains up, whatever. And I finally found one in August of 2017, 6-7 months ago, whatever it is. And I got one. So the sense of accomplishment, David, I think David actually sent me the auction link and I won it. It was at the same time I was going after the Toygraph diver sets. I'm like, fuck. I'm going after the other ones. Now this shows up. I'm like, what do I do? I know what I want to do. I know what I should do. I probably shouldn't, but F it. I'm going to do it anyways. So I got one. Lo and behold, like a month later, Gigabrain says, hey, we're going to reissue it. I'm like, but it's still nice to have an original.
Yeah, you got the
but to me, this was something that I hunted for about 4 years or so. And James Hartman, if you're out there watching, yes, I did keep the staples because I'm telling you, people, Those staples from your Marmits, your Toygraphs are going to be worth something one day. James thinks otherwise, but he is wrong.
Hey, Rich, I got a question for you real quick.
Go ahead, shoot, sir.
That version that you're holding, is there any difference between that and the reissued version? Because don't they normally make a small tweak to the design so you can tell the difference?
Because I was kind of bummed that it was just getting reissued, the pictures that Mike Johnson got, that was solicited from Gigabrain, I looked real hard, and I couldn't find any difference. From the highlights on the chest to the fingernails, the toenails, the knees, the eyes, everything looks identical. So
I'll reissue that clear green one that he posted. Mike Johnson posted a clear green one, 62 the other day, maybe a couple weeks ago, and I was like, oh, I have never wanted a 62 figure more than what I'm seeing on the screen.
Yeah, the reissues. The only way I would know for sure is if I had one side by side. There is one other collector in the Boston area that has the new one. So Anzies, if I'm pronouncing it right, he lives closer to Boston. If I ever hook up with him, we'll compare. But that's the thing with Gigabrain. Like you're talking about the clear green one. Was it done before?
I don't know the details. Basically, Mike posted it, and I was like, drool started coming out of my mouth, and I was like, where did you get that? And was it difficult? So, yeah.
I mean,
eventually,
more and more things are getting reissued, and that's the thing. Especially like I was talking about with the Vinyl Wars line. I mean, if you're patient, chances are, it may be reissued. Like there's a guy right here. I'm looking at the comments in the YouTube chat. Doug Govistis is saying that his Grail is the Godzilla holding the Hedorah eggs. And I remember when I got mine. That was I hunted that figure down, and I got into a bidding war, and I ended up winning it. And then 2.5 years later, 3 years later, it's re-released. And now it was pretty readily available at the time. And the thing is about these things that get re-released, it's like, oh yeah, it's re-released, and there's a window that you have to get it, and then it's no longer available anymore. And I mean that's just the nature of the hobby. So when I say something's re-released, it's not something you can go online and probably get now. But chances are, someone who is a dealer who has that figure that will sell it to you, and it's still going to be cheaper than it was before it was re-released by Vinyl Wars. You know what I mean? And I know there are like a lot of diehards that are like, well, if something's re-released, it's still the original is still better. And like honestly, at the end of the day, the sculpt is the sculpt, unless the paint job is considerably markedly different or whatever. Like to me, it depends on the figure, I guess. There are a few figures I'll buy multiples of. I have multiples of the Godzilla 95 Marmit Monster Heaven Godzilla. I don't have 28 figures like some maniacs we know, but I have
James Hartman.
But I have a few. Gigabrain's the same way. Like Gigabrain, they only have like 7 figures, 6 figures, something like that.
Yeah.
They have a Ghidorah. They have 3 Godzillas, a Gigan, a Jet Jaguar, and a Monster X, right?
Monster X.
And a Hedorah. They have a Hedorah.
Yeah.
Now, I wish they would re-release the Hedorah because that's one I need. But all the other ones, I mean, the original, I don't think it even is the original, but the King Ghidorah, it might be the second one, the gold and silver one. To me, that's the end-all, be-all of that. But, dude, that Gigabrain King Ghidorah is so gorgeous. And if you want a Gigabrain King Ghidorah, every 2 months yes, that one there, that figure to me will never leave my collection. That is like the perfect King Ghidorah. But if you like the sculpt, they re-release that figure every 2 months. You know what I mean? Just get one. So, but the thrill of the hunt would be if that particular one is your Grail, good luck finding that for, under $500, because I wouldn't part with mine for under $500. I don't think so.
I remember when I got this, I had a fun box there with this motherfucker.
Yeah, I got mine from Tim Crane, a little bastard.
Oh, Tim Crane, sell out.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, sell out.
Like we were saying, Holy Grails are not something that is like a year old. You need to
have some longevity to it.
Yeah. It should be out of print or something like that. My holy grail is my Hiroshima Skynet Angulus. The thing is like 3 feet long. I know of only like 6 circulating the fandom, and I was lucky enough to get mine because Steve, who left us earlier, just finally decided that he didn't want his anymore, and after 3 years of searching, it just popped into my lap. So
exactly.
So you're saying like
Not
it's more so you have to be a year's as far as how long you're searching for it, or is it like a monetary like sort of type deal, like how much money you're willing to shell out?
It's
a combination.
It should be a combination of things like I don't know. Pick one of these X Plus. It's like it was.
I don't know
just
if I would say
released.
that it has to be like a monetary amount, right? Like, because Jessica, even if you're searching like crazy hypothetically speaking, if you had not bought that Aoshima Angulus from Steve, you'd still be searching for it. And then if all of a sudden someone put it up on Yahoo Japan for like $150 and you're like, really? No one else is going to bid on this? You would still consider that your holy grail if you
Hell
want.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you're absolutely right. You're
Yeah.
absolutely right.
Yeah. Because I got because like the Marmit Monster Heaven Gigan figures, right? Like I have the standard one right here. You know, so this sculpt came out as a gallery edition. It was like black and gold and silver spray. And it's freaking gorgeous.
Yes.
But it was
this.
ridiculous to find for a little while. And I did actually search for it for a few years. But then I got one for I think $60. And like that doesn't discount the fact that I feel like it was a holy grail, you know?
Yeah, exactly. That
No, you're
Gigan is an
absolutely
awesome
right.
figure. Yeah. Monster
I
Heaven
feel like it's the
Gigan's rule. Like this figure and this was like the black was a grail. You know what I mean?
Brian, when you want to get rid of the glow in the dark,
Chloe
just let me
was
know.
also a grail. And I think I got them both really for like under $100 each. It's just that sometimes you just luck into things, you know what I mean?
Totally, absolutely. But you have to do that searching. You have to, and you know, another thing about, sorry to go off on a tangent about not spending a lot of money, because I like to think that I'm a cheap bastard, even though I have some figures that are worth hundreds of dollars. But in essence, I am. Like I'll look at the like Rich. You remember when I was looking for the Gigan X Plus figure, and I was like, man, screw it. I'm not spending that much money. Like they were going for like $250, and I was like, no, I'm not going to do it.
Nobody's talking to you.
Over and over and over.
I said yes, not yes. Sorry, Kyle. Kyle, I actually, if I remember correctly, didn't I find the Gigan on Yahoo Japan?
You found the 68, the Godzilla 68. And you were like offering to buy it for me, and I was like, oh, I think I was down at like a convention at the time. Anyway, the deal is that the price kept going. Like, I'm not going to pay $250 for that Gigan figure. I'm not going to pay $260 for that Gigan figure. I'm not going to pay $275 for that Gigan figure. Okay, I'm going to pay $280 for that. Gigan. You know, eventually I just had to like buckle under the pressure and get it for what I would spend for it. But you know, getting a figure for the price you want it is a beautiful, beautiful thing.
Yeah. I see a lot of, I'm like kind of reading the discussion in the chat here, and people are debating on like what makes a holy grail, but really like there is no like definition of what makes it a holy grail. I mean, if it's something you can go get at Toys R Us, then it's not really a whole, you know what I mean? Like it's not really a holy grail.
Let's put that definition on the books right now in stone. If you can buy this at Toys R Us, that is not a holy grail.
Not a holy grail.
Not easily obtained.
Not easily obtained, exactly. And you know, if it's your holy grail and it gets reissued next week and you buy it and there's 500 of them available, is it still, at the end of the day though, it still was your holy grail figure. It's not your fault that it was reissued. You know what I mean? So, you know, I don't want to get all technical. And
I get what you're saying, because
you know what I mean?
that Hedra Clear Guts figure, right?
Yeah, right.
Somebody could have been like, that's my holy grail figure, and then
Yeah.
it gets reissued, and
Yeah.
they're able to get it.
Yeah. And you know what? That may have made people angry that had the original figure and that were holding on to that figure and saying, oh, well, I've had this figure for years and it's so sought after. And all of a sudden, here it is again. And and I agree with that. But at the end of the day, I was thrilled to get that figure, and now they're doing one that I have pre-ordered. That's a clear guts and it's green translucent vinyl, which I don't think has ever been done. So, you know, if you do your little bit of work here and there and look at things and be like, I'm going to go to Yahoo Japan a couple times a week and I'm going to go and learn how to use those things. There's a whole world of like tools out there to make it, possible to get whatever figure you really, really have your heart set on getting. And the only obstacle is your wallet. And if you put money aside and you say, this is money for when I find this particular figure, it's crazy to think that, I've spent $400 or $500 on a Godzilla toy, but if you put the money aside for it, it is what it is. So collect what you like. And, your holy grail though, however, is not going to be the Shin Godzilla NECA figure. Cause
what really?
I mean, that was 30 years
invalidated.
30 years from now, that might be a legit holy grail figure. Who knows?
Anywhere. All right. So speaking of holy grails, if there is one figure that we could get our hands on in the realm of the holy grail aspect,
that's already
what would it
in
be?
existence or into something that is not in existence?
Something that exists. Something that exists.
Okay. That's a tough
Brian, go
question.
ahead.
Oh God, I don't know. That's a really tough question. I mean,
where is it?
I don't know. I mean, there's some vintage stuff maybe. But honestly, the Toygraph train biter, I really want one of those, and I've kind of like put that off because honestly the whole Toygraph divers, I would like to get the other diver, and I'd like to get a train biter. Probably right there, those would be the two. I mean, obviously, would I like to get a vintage, pristine, Mechagodzilla? Bullmark Mechagodzilla? Sure, but what are the chances of that happening? So I don't know. That would probably be it. The Toygraph stuff. I'm kind of lucky in the fact that I've kind of found most of the stuff I want, which is why I think I've kind of slowed down. What about you, Kyle?
Kyle, what about you?
Oh man, this is gonna sound really terrible. I don't have any holy grails right now.
No, that's actually good because I kind of feel like that too.
Yeah, I've taken care of all my holy grails, right? Like, and because I'm very adamant about the description of that term, right? Like that means something that I can't just go onto Yahoo Japan or Mandarake or eBay right now and find. If I go onto any of those services and it's there, then it's not a holy grail. Unless I get on there and it's like 50 times what I want to pay for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, like honestly, I think right now I'm at a point kind of like where I'm just looking to see what's coming out on the Vinyl Wars line, because honestly, some of the stuff that they've been releasing has been really, really fantastic. And then on top of that, I think I'm just going to be looking for other monsters that I don't have yet, kaiju that aren't represented in my collection that I can be like, hey, finally, I can pick up a insert monster name here figure. The end.
Cool.
Right. Yeah, I agree. And there's a whole
Rob,
other
what
world
about
of
you?
collectibles out there that none of us really ever dive into. I don't know. Does anybody collect vintage posters? Does anybody collect vintage?
Yes.
You know what I mean? So there's a whole world out there.
I have some up here. They're way up there.
Yeah, you do. You know what? I'm actually looking at that. You have a really nice poster collection.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Rob, what about you? What's holy grails?
I don't know. Like Kyle, I don't really have grails per se, although there is a small list of stuff that I continuously look for. One is Shogun Warrior Rodan.
Oh, yeah.
The problem is I'm extremely picky about it, and I rarely find one that's in decent shape. Well, so far, I've not been satisfied with the ones I've seen to buy it. It was really not that expensive, but none of the ones I've seen I've been satisfied with, so I haven't picked it up yet. The Godzilla Gang toys, which I want to say those were made by Marasan, I believe, and they were released in the States, and they called them the Godzilla Gang. I had them as a kid.
The Popey figures.
Yeah.
Popey.
Thank you.
Boom.
Thank you.
All
I
six.
really want to reacquire those for nostalgia purposes because I have
I'm
them.
also interested in that. Someday I'd like to pick up a couple of those figures for sure.
I would really like an X Plus Gappa that I totally missed the ball on because I just didn't have the money when it released.
Okay, that absolutely. I've known Robert for how many years, dude? 6 years now. And
You've been
yes,
saying you wanted that.
absolutely, that is a holy grail for Robert Dwyer.
But like Kyle, I am not going to overpay for it because they had one at G Fest. It was either last year or the year before. They're like $900. I'm like, yeah, that's not happening.
Rob,
I'm sorry.
Doesn't Brad have one?
Who?
Brad Simmons.
I think so. I
I think he has one. I remember when he got. I'm pretty sure I remember when he got one.
Yeah,
So just shake him down for it.
but I think he sold that though.
Unbelievable.
I think he already sold it. But yeah, that like for X Plus, probably that. I would say I wouldn't mind getting the Bandai Museum Yog Trio too. But my caveat for that is like, do I want that or do I want to wait for like newer X Plus versions of them?
I would wait for newer X Plus versions. Okay?
Yeah, you know what I mean? So at this point,
Can I explain why? Just because
Sure.
I personally think it's kind of funny. So anybody remember like maybe a year and a half ago when X Plus was they put out, I think, the Megalon Gigan 2-pack, like the 25 centimeter 2-pack, right? As a Wonder Festival exclusive. And when they had them on the table, there was a Jet Jaguar figure along with them. And I was like, G-san, is Jet Jaguar coming? Are we getting a Jet Jaguar? And he goes, no, Kyle-san, mold is broken. Oh, shit. And then what comes out is a 25 centimeter Jet Jaguar figure that lights up.
I love it.
I would say definitely hold off, definitely hang on, because those Bandai, I have the turtle, the Kami bus, right? And he's great. But if X Plus were to do a set, I think it would be worth waiting for that.
there was one other thing that, even though it's not technically a grail, because I don't know if they ever made it, but a couple years ago, they had a post which they showed a Dagora, which looked like it was made by X Plus, that looked perfect. I'm like, oh my God, I must have that. And then they're like, nope, just a prototype.
Rob, I've held that in my hands.
So
that was sculpted by Keizo Murase. So it was sculpted by him because he was like, would you see if this gains any traction at the show? And apparently it didn't gain enough traction, but it's beautiful. It's a very beautiful figure.
I can't see how it wouldn't. I mean, I would have bought that. Like, it wouldn't have been hard.
Yeah. If they made that, I would gladly sell my posable tentacle version thing that I have that I can't even remember the manufacturer.
Yeah. So those are probably the main items I'm looking for. I'm also on an Atragon kick, so I'm looking for Atragon items in general, but that's about it. Yes, like that cool poster you have in the back there that I would love to get one of my own. So
yeah.
Which I
went over there.
Could acquire that. That probably wouldn't be too hard. So.
Hey man, I gotta say, if there's any collectors out there, we were only briefly touched on posters recently, but if anybody's checked out these things here, these are these box sets that are coming out from Japan. They're basically 25 bucks each. Are you saying you missed the boat?
Yeah.
Oh my friend, let me tell you something good. Some good news for you.
What is it?
You can still get these things on Amazon Japan. There's no such thing as missing the boat.
Oh,
Pretty
really?
much.
I thought it was like a one and done deal.
No. Kodansha basically, once Amazon runs out, they're basically like, here, have some more. So I've picked these up, and inside they have a DVD.
Yeah.
And the DVD is fine. But honestly, the real treats are this packet of stuff that comes with the DVD set. So you can get like full-size freaking posters. I'm assuming that's what Rich is holding up.
A full-size poster.
So yeah, you can get some of the full-size posters. Yeah, man. Like the GMK box that came out had the 27 by 40
Bam.
theatrical advance artwork. Which
Bam.
is that one from the set? Because it didn't it have the
No.
painted one too?
If this was from the set, this is an original, not from the set.
No, I have the one from the. I'm just saying that
Oh.
the set, the actual set, came with the painted one.
Yes.
Anyway, I'm just saying
That
that
was
these
what
things.
the MM28 set was based around.
Exactly. Yeah. If anybody is interested in picking up posters, this is the time. Now is the time for collectors to get into this, because these things, once again, only $25 a piece, and they
Yeah.
come with the poster and all sorts of crazy awesome stuff.
All right, we'll talk offline.
Yeah, for sure, dude. For
I
sure.
like posters.
posters are awesome.
I think that set's really neat.
I like Mothra.
Posters. Problem is, I have limited
Superman
space,
beats them all.
so I'm trying to negotiate more space for posters. It hasn't worked out yet.
I see a little
Rob,
space
man.
behind you, right behind the TV, Rob.
I know. That's part of the
Rob.
problem.
Just hang the poster and tell him to deal with it.
Yeah.
Put your foot down.
Yeah, that's right. Put it down and put the poster up. Boom.
No, it's all good. It'll all work out. It'll all work out.
Where's Steve at? Tell him to come in here. I want to talk to him.
He's working.
But Rob, seriously,
Fine.
that if you're interested in an Atragon poster, I think there is an Atragon box of that set coming out really soon.
Okay. Yep. So, yeah, I'm kind of on a kick for that film right now. So it's making me want to acquire items from it.
Dude, you know I'm going to send you a link to an Amazon page right after this chat is over.
Yeah, please send it to me too.
You got it, man.
Hey, because we were gonna just go for 2 hours, should we try to turn it open to questions and comments from everybody watching on
Yeah,
YouTube? Maybe a little bit.
I think that would be a great idea.
All right, so everybody that's watching, I'm gonna pull open the comment section. Throw your questions in. We'll it could be to any one of us that are sitting here on the panel, and I'll ask your questions. So start rolling out with that. This is gonna be like a 5-second delay, so I don't have any questions at the moment. But
So we just need to sing the Mothra song, right?
we can sing the Mothra song.
Not you.
I'm watching King Kong versus Godzilla, and it's literally the native dance around King Kong. So we could all sing that right now.
Cigarette.
Whatever the movie's at is the
Don't smoke
native
this
dance
around
around.
home.
All right, here. First question. Maybe we can all go through answering our opinions based around the question.
Yeah.
What are your opinions? This is from Clonezilla Reviews. What are your opinions on the newer Bandai figures besides Biollante? So, I guess that would include the Bandai Premiums and any of the newer reissues like the Heavy Arms. Q. Brenda, go ahead.
They're terrible, all of them.
Jess.
I don't collect Bandai, so I'm not really a fan. But they are good sculpts.
Thank you.
Aside from the Bandai, I think the Heavy Arms Kyu Mechagodzilla is pretty cool. I didn't pick it up. The Gargantuas and Frankenstein, I think they're great as far as the Bandai line goes. I'm just going to say it, but why spend the money on those when you could spend a few dollars more and get the X Plus versions? Bam. Kyle, you're up.
I think that the Bandai Premium stuff is awesome. And I admit that as someone who met up with the Bandai rep in Tokyo, name drop Kaneda-san, I would say that that stuff is worth checking out, especially to the hardcore collectors, right? I have the Gargantua set, the Gargantua from X Plus. The Gargantua set from X Plus was at least like $150 brand new, and they go for $400+ dollars. So I think the Bandai Premium Gargantuas are worth displaying if you're interested in having a Gargantua, but not interested in paying the way aftermarket prices of the X Plus set. The Frankenstein I like better than the upcoming figure from X Plus, unfortunately. But Bandai's new stuff, I thought they were really phoning it in until these new releases. And we have Rodan and Gigan. Those are cool, but they're reissues. I want to see them sculpt more things in the future.
Okay, Rob, your take on the newer Bandai figures?
Generally pretty good. I was a little underwhelmed with the Gargantuas, but my caveat for that is I own the X Plus ones, so they're not really going to quite compare. I thought the Frankenstein was great, so if you had to pick out any one of them, get the Frankenstein for sure, and then, you know, go from there. But yeah, overall, the premiums are generally worth the increase in price. I mean, honestly, except for Ultra figures, because I'm an Ultra person too, I haven't collected any Bandais really in a long time until just recently with the Gargs and Frankenstein. So they brought me out of, you know, Bandai retirement. So that has to say something.
Awesome. Brian, your take on the new Bandais?
The Biollante I will definitely buy. Because that's cool, and I don't have a Bandai Biollante, so I'm all about that. As for the I mean, the Gargantuas and the Frankenstein, I can't justify that price because I could buy something else for $20 or $30 more. And then
May I ask real quick, if you were able to get in on that initial offering, right, where you were only paying about $45 plus shipping to you, would you have jumped on the Gargantuas if you were able to?
Maybe. I was able to, and I was still kind of like, I don't know. So I don't
know. It's a really short time window on being able to order this stuff. It's kind of a bummer, I think.
Yeah.
So anyway, sorry to interrupt.
I don't know. They just don't do anything for me, I guess. So, I mean, it's cool, and if you like them, awesome, get them. The Biollante I will buy because again, I that's a cool figure, and it's not a figure that you see a lot of. But I guess you could say the same thing for the Gargantuas and Frankenstein. I don't know what the difference is between them. I don't know. And then reissues are just reissues to me. I have most of the 6-inch line anyway already, so I don't care one way or the other. But yeah, you know, it is what it is.
Hey, wasn't the Rodan from Final Wars originally a 6-inch figure? Are they scaling it down?
They were all they all were.
All 6-inch.
Yep.
So is this new one just literally a reissue of that figure, or are they scaling it down even further?
Well, from my understanding, from what they've been doing with the movie Monster series, it seems like they're a little bit smaller than the initial movie Monster series releases. So the first Final Wars Rodan was in the movie Monster series 6-inch. That was it was the pink tag version that came out in 2005. Then I believe it was reissued again because I had 2 of them and I sold one. So I think it was reissued twice, and now it would mark the 3rd time. But if I had to guess, it's going to be in the 5-inch range. So I think they reduced the size a little bit more. So
it'd be interesting to see if it's the same size or not.
Yeah, I'm curious.
I mean, I'm guessing Gigan's the same size as the Godzilla Island sculpt, right?
That would, if that's the case, that, you know, the Godzilla Island sculpt came out in '98. That's a 20-year-old sculpt. So unless they, for some reason, they lost the initial sculpt that the figure was molded from, and they took a figure, molded it from that, no different than when you're taking a resin kit and transitioning it to vinyl, you do lose some scaling from that size. So I'm not 100% sure. I do know that when having held the reissued Godzilla 2000 figures from 2 years ago, those were smaller than the original 6-inch version that came out in 1999, 2000. It was more in scale with the 50th anniversary memorial box Godzilla 2000. So, and those were a little bit smaller than their initial releases. So, just figuratively speaking, the newer Monster series are a little bit smaller than the originals. So, not a big difference. Nothing really, you know, to lose any sleep over. All right, next question comes from Kaiju Addicts. Where did you get that awesome X Plus Q? I got it from Flozzy's Gifts. I got this awesome Kiryu from Flozzy'sGifts.com. Shameless plug, Mr. Sanowski. I miss doing that actually with the voiceovers on my video. I need to do that again.
With a cheesy back.
Next question's from Godzilla 9009. When will Jess stop collecting SH Monster Arts?
The day right after never.
And there you have it.
Right after they release an Angulus figure.
I am dying for them to release an Angulus. I don't care if it's 55, 68. I don't care.
Which would be the one you'd want to see most, though? If they were like
68.
68, okay.
68.
Don't you think that's going to be too similar to the Revoltech figure?
That is one of my absolute favorite figures.
It's a beautiful sculpt. The Revoltech figure is absolutely fantastic.
He's another one. He took me, I believe it was 3 years to actually obtain. But yeah, I think the Monster Arts would actually be more detailed.
I know it would fall apart way easier than the Revoltech. It would just like, you wouldn't have to take it apart even. You just look at it and it would fall apart.
See, I know a lot of people have problems with their Monster Arts, but I can't complain. I haven't had any problems. That's why I am the queen.
Yeah, now not for nothing. I'll play with this guy. Tail pop off, handle pop off, figure will pop off, whatever. It's expected if you're going to sit here and play. Oh, but it goes back on. That's articulated figures for you people.
Yeah,
Articulation 101. All right, next question.
Articulation 102 is trying to put back Space Godzilla into his form after his neck shatters into the 3 pieces that it's supposed to.
Oh, shit.
Continued education by Kaiju Cast.
That's why we need Kaiju 101 as a college class. Kaiju collecting 101.
I saw a good one up here.
All right, next question comes from Wonder This World 97. What is your favorite Godzilla 67 figure?
Oh, that's a good one.
That's a good one. I like that.
Good one, yeah.
Brendan, go ahead.
I don't know.
Moving on. Jess, go ahead.
Oh God, 67.
Pass.
Pass.
It's such a weird.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I'll go with X Plus. I mean, I'm not a fan of the suit. I don't like it.
Sacrilege.
All right, moving on to me. Hi, I'm Rich Iso. Thank you for joining us. My favorite 67 is the Marmit Monster Heaven.
Yeah.
7 Godzilla. This figure is, as James Hartman would say, sex. Yep. And it is just beautiful. I think it just captures the essence of the 67 suit. I can't even pronounce it. It's like Mouskowitz or something. But it is a beautiful figure. What?
Fievel Mouskowitz?
Yes, Fievel Mouskowitz. But this is my favorite 67. Love it. It is beautiful. This was also my. No, it's mine. It was also my second Marmot ever from Goji Girl. Chibi Goji Toys I bought this from. Beautiful. Okay, Brian, go ahead. What do you got?
All right. I am going to concur with you. This guy right here is the best one. It's awesome. It scales perfectly with the Kumonga. Yeah, Marmot just perfectly captures him. However, I will say if that's number 1, then 1A is the Parababy version, which also has the little Minya that rides on his head or on his tail. Like Marmot just perfectly captures that whole that suit, and that's why Marmot is the best of anything ever.
Bam. Rob's favorite 67. Go.
Well, I don't own any, but Brian pretty much showed you the one I would buy if I had one, which is the one with the baby. The YSMF one is also very good, I think.
It is very good. You're correct.
Good point. Good point.
So one of those, it would be one of those two. But yes, I actually don't own any G67 figures.
I don't either.
But it'd be one of those two for sure. Yeah.
I own one Godzilla 67 figure, and it's the X Plus.
That is definitely the X Plus.
Yeah.
And I can tell you right now, the sculpt is not perfect. So I honestly feel like the best is the Marmot. So I have to echo what Rich and
The
Brian
Marmot
said.
looks more like the movie suit, believe it or not.
It really does, even though it's got the soft detail.
Yeah.
I know.
Probably because of that.
All right. The next question is, what is your favorite glow in the dark figure? And begin, Brandon. The question was, what is your favorite?
This is my favorite.
That's not yours,
This
though.
is mine.
Big difference.
This is mine. This was given to me as a
No,
gift,
no,
as a birthday gift
No.
from one Jess.
lies.
Take it back.
Since when?
Lies.
Take it back.
No.
I'll put him in the basement. We'll tie him up. Billy's going to go for him. Look at Billy smiling over there. He's all happy. He's like, oh, boy, I get to play games with people. Okay, so that's yours. What's yours? Your favorite glow in the dark?
You probably can't see it.
We can't see it.
You can't see it.
Over here, Jeremy, go.
Oh, it's an
And
Anguirus.
Yes, of course.
Oh.
What?
Shocker of shockers.
Oh,
Oh, that
Fun.
Jessica, that had better be your favorite freaking figure.
It is the Altair G1 Angulus 68 glow in the dark. Beautiful. Cost me a fucking arm and a leg.
I remember.
You
I
bought
remember
that right
I
before
remember when you
G-Fest.
bought
I
that
remember.
figure.
Yeah, I got it right before last year's G Fest, thanks to Christine, and it's. I would consider it a grail, but I mean, it literally popped up one day. I never saw it before, and I was just like, Christine, I don't care what it costs. I need it.
It's only $20. I don't know why she'd make a big thing.
Yeah.
That is so hilariously low.
Get the rest for herself.
You should have brought it
Yeah, well,
Yeah, that question.
next time.
for,
Next
for-
time.
for the price, it stays right where it is.
$20. Come on. Happy Meals. All right, my favorite.
We will say it is the most expensive figure in my entire collection.
All right.
Hashtag
I know what you're
absolutely
about to
ridiculous.
show, Rich.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My favorite glowy is my first glowy, and the quick story behind this is I didn't know it glowed in the dark until I accidentally looked back in my collection room, and I'm like, "What the fresh is that?" And I
What
had
the
to turn the
fresh
lights
is
back
that?
on and focus my eyes, and then turn the lights back off, and I realized, oh, and it was
Hun?
Yeah.
What is that? Hun?
Yeah. That does
And it
not
was-
look like a glowy figure. That's why.
yeah. I did not know it was a glowy
Oh.
figure until I accidentally realized. I'm like, oh shit, son of a bitch glows in the dark. I'm like, it just got that much cooler, and then. I mean, not for nothing. Over the years, it was great to taunt the one and only James Hartman
Hartman.
with his measly 28 Desugojis.
Yeah.
But he did manage to get one last fall, and I saw his in person, and I actually watched him on Bag It. It was kind of amazing. It was like he was popping his, glowy Desugoji virginity.
That is
No.
his grail figure.
It is, and that son of a bitch threw staples away, and I told him, like, stupid ass. Told him. See, he has all those muscles for nothing when he throws the staples away, but whatever. What do I know? I'm telling you, I'm going to have a freaking necklace. It's going to be more money than my gold chains of staples. That's what's up. All right, Kyle, what's your favorite glowy?
My glowy, I've been trying to charge it up, but this is my favorite glowy. The Sarazawa figure from the Toygraph is like hands down the best glowy figure I have. It is obviously it's the only Sarazawa figure I have in my collection and the only representation of the Oxygen Destroyer as well. Also, I should say shout out to Dell for hooking me up with this. Not just this guy, but the Godzilla that came with him before the prices on Toygraphs went super crazy.
Yep, that figure does look awesome, glowed up. I was muted.
Yes.
Now I'm not. But yeah, awesome
Stop
awesome
touching
figure.
buttons.
Stop pushing buttons. Rob, what do you got?
The only glowy I really like is I believe it's a Marmot. Again, I'm terrible with company names, so forgive me. But it's a glowy Dogora, kind of a bright green. Other than that, I don't really collect glowies, so I'm not the best person to ask about that. But I've seen several different Dezogozis that glow in the dark, and those all look great. So probably those as well.
David Dobko, hands down, has the best glow in the dark collection I've seen in person, at least.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I really don't collect them. Again, I just haven't got. There's a lot of aspects I have not gotten to yet that I'm anxious to try at some point. So,
What about you, Brian?
David Dobko does have the best glowy collection. I will agree. He has my glowy Grail, which is the glowy Gigabrain King Ghidorah, which I would absolutely love to have. In my own collection, I have a lot of glowies. It's kind of weird that you turn the lights off and you go upstairs and you're like, oh wow. But my personal one would be this guy. It's the Marmit 62, and it's signed by Nakajima.
That's awesome.
So, yeah, that makes it pretty awesome. So I would say that's my favorite glowy figure in my collection.
Nice. Let's see. Where was Liam's? What figure? All right, Liam Foley's asking, what figure did you purchase that you were disappointed in once you got it home? So what figure did you have high expectations for and were you let down with?
I got a good one.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, dude.
No, go Kyle.
All right. So like the definitive disappointing figure in my collection actually came really early in my life. I bought the Bandai Destroya figure, and I was like, "Oh my god! I've seen pictures of these Bandai figures online, and if they're any indication, the Destroya final form is going to be so cool." And then I opened up the box and I actually called Showcase Collectibles. I was like, "Can I return this and get some store credit for a different custom figure?" They said yes.
What about you, Robert?
So figure I was disappointed with when I got it. That's pretty easy. Anyone who knows me knows that figures that are high maintenance bug the hell out of me. So by far, that 30-centimeter Rodan I bought, I have never regretted a figure more than that. It falls over all the time.
The 64 or the 30?
It's the 30-centimeter one.
30. Sorry, I meant I said the wrong thing. I said 64 or 56.
It's the 30-centimeter one, and yeah.
Yeah,
I was close to returning that. It's a big pain in the butt, pretty much all the time. So definitely that one.
This is my impression of Rodan.
I hate figures that fall over. So, it's
Ryan.
just brace it. I'm like, no, I don't want to brace it. I want to stand there without bracing.
Oh, okay.
Oh Lord! But yes, by far that one disappointed me the most. So,
Brian.
SH Monster Arts King Ghidorah, easily. It was so expensive when it came out, and when I opened it up, one of the heads and half of one of the tails was off. So to instantly have to, and it's not like one of those things where you can just snap them back on. It was like you had to heat it up, and it was just a pain, and it never. I have a meme that I made that actually it's a picture that James Hartman took of a King Ghidorah figure with the wing broken, the head broken off. I think it was, and I took the picture and I wrote 500 points of articulation falls apart when you touch it. And I think that perfectly sums up Monster Hearts. So I would say it's King Ghidorah Monster Hearts.
Yes.
All right, so for my figure, I actually 100% agree with Brian. Earlier, I said I didn't have any problems with my Monster Arts, and actually, that was the only one that I've had a problem with. It literally sits on my shelf. I don't dust it. I don't clean it. It does not move.
Yeah, falls apart. That's another reason why I sold mine.
Sold mine.
Which defeats the purpose of 500 points of articulation.
Yes, sir.
Once and have it break instantly. Mecha Ghidorah.
Bought the special
Just
color,
wrap it up
though.
with aluminum foil.
The special color, they
thing's
revamped
awesome.
it, and I moved that one around, but the original, I will not touch it.
Yeah.
What about you?
So many things have been bought and then sold over, but I think I might have to echo what Kyle said. At least, well, I mean, for the Bandai Destroyer, because of the wings, it was the most saddening thing ever to have them try to splay out and just, oh, look, that's it.
They don't even point the right way.
No, it's just, it's
Like-
nothing. It's just like, it's not big. It's not like imposing at all. Like, it's not like, it doesn't command any presence, whatever. It's just like, I love
Destroyer
it.
was so impressive in the movie. He looked so beautiful in the movie, and then like opening the box to see that figure.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
What it looked like in the movie. Yeah.
In fairness, the X Plus more than made up for that. Which is, the X Plus is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
No, I think that's it though. Like, I've really not been really disappointed by a lot of stuff I had.
Yeah, this
Yeah,
was a
I've
hard
been
question.
lucky because,
Good question.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think that's it.
All right.
The paint apps on Degarla, maybe when I got the Mothra set. That's about it. Yeah.
What about you?
Again, a hard question. If anything, I was disappointed by. I'm gonna throw X Plus in the mix here. Was the 25 centimeter Mechagodzilla 74 that came with the secret base, which I dub it's not so secret because they gave the base away in the box. But it's just kind of a static displayed figure. I had him displayed with the secret base packaging from the box, and it just did not work at all on my shelf. And it had holes in it too from the twist ties. So I was like, well, that's just going to flood the base if it rains real hard. So I don't know. I had this one. I mean, it looks nice. It's got like a blue U to it, but
He's kind of got a puffy chest.
Yeah, he's got a little bottle. Hey, how you doing?
come at me, Earthlings.
Bro.
Yeah, come at me, Earthlings.
I do have one that's different, I guess what I'd say. It was probably like the Bandai Mothra 3 armored version. Not so much for the armor itself, but the color, because I was really confused. I don't know why, but I expected the colors of bright. Like, I ended up texting you and like had to look online too. And that was the only thing. Like, I think it's cool sculpt, but the colors are underwhelming as far as the rainbow. I was waiting for that one. Thank God for the 2. So that's it.
All right, one more question, and then we're gonna wrap it up here. Let's see.
That'd be a good one.
I saw one on there, but I don't know if you
Some,
went through it.
some guy named Sam West making comments that he should just. Hey, Sam, go heat up your hot pockets, will you, please? Let me find one more good question here. Let's see. All right, here. This is, I think, kind of an easy question, but it could be difficult. Lenny Stevens, if you could collect only one line of figures, which would it be?
Yeah, that was the one I was going to suggest too.
All right, Brian, go ahead. You're up.
Marmot, baby.
Marmot, boom.
Bam.
Rob.
That's it.
X Plus.
Kyle.
Is gone.
Kyle is MIA right now.
Hi, Kyle.
Well, Kyle's not here at the moment. He is not here at the moment. Brendan.
I love the stylized so much, but I'm gonna have to go with X Plus because I still have things to fill
Boom.
for my kid. Not me so much. My kid. A little bit me.
That would be the queen of the monster arts.
Treadmasters, right?
Yeah,
No.
yeah. No, definitely monster arts for me.
Ouch. And you're an M1 pusher?
Mm.
You didn't say M1? Gross.
Boom.
Oh, wait. What if M1 did all of them? Would that change? Okay, wait. If M1 put out all of the things you ever wanted, like
And they
Next
custom
class,
painted
we're
them
like,
for
yeah,
you too.
I changed my answer. I'm M1. Totally changing it now.
Kiss ass. Yeah, I mean, I could go M1, but I mean, I love their figures, especially my special ones. But yeah, I'm a Monster Arts girl.
That's what's up.
I mean, M1 would definitely be my second in line for after Marmot.
So that leaves me. Gee, this is a real hard one.
I don't know. I don't know.
If I had to pick one line, it would definitely be.
Trendmasters.
I was gonna say Bandai Creations, but
No.
Oh,
Trendmasters.
Should be
and there's
shot.
nothing wrong with Bandai Creations, but no, X Plus people, X Plus, because I've always come down to the saying that if I had to sell off my stuff, everything else that I have. No, actually, I'd probably sell an arm first, a testicle, a kidney.
Just your left one.
Just the left one. Yeah, no, but I'm an X Plus whore as we know it.
You're such a slut.
I'm a slut. You know, you'll see me on the corner
So
hustling
gross,
for
man.
G Okamoto out there in Osaka. I'm like X Plus. I'll be out. You know, it's like when you go to Vegas and they're flipping like the cards at you. You know, I'll be out there flipping. You know, smacking X Plus figures.
I forgot.
If you haven't been to the Vegas Strip, you don't know what that means. But they're like, yeah. I'll be like, you know, like on the Vegas Strip, they got like Mickey. They got the Vegas Strip. They got Mickey Mouse, Goofy. They're sitting on the side of the street, all drunk and bummed out. That would be me with X Plus figures. Yeah.
His face cut out so you can see it.
Be a shitty freaking Godzilla, like one of those Godzilla masks that they had at the convention.
He just does
But
a
anyway.
2-foot shuffle.
Oh, Kyle's back. What about Kyle?
Kyle, all right. Bam, what's doing, guys? Thanks for joining us another episode of Fresh Mind. Oh, wait. That's not the beginning. Kyle, the last question. You are it. If you had to choose one figure line to collect, what would it be?
Oh, damn. X Plus. X Plus 25 centimeter line, if I had to even hone it down to that.
Damn.
That's a good honing in.
It's
a
all
good
over
honing in.
there.
It's not a bad honing.
Fair enough.
All right. Kyle, I know you just got back, but we're done.
You guys switched subjects real fast while I was in the bathroom.
Yeah. Well, we were talking about, you know, bathroom amenities.
Oh man, I totally missed my opportunity to talk about the Godzilla toilet paper roll.
Yeah.
Hey,
Or the
I
soap.
still
I
have-
have Godzilla figures in my bathroom,
I do
so
too.
Story.
you
I
saw
have
it tonight.
I have a Gamera soap dispenser.
My what?
I have a
You didn't
Gamera.
touch my Godzillas.
Hey,
I didn't do a thing. I swear to God.
Anyway, we're gonna wrap it up. Anybody got anything else they want to add before we close shop?
Kyle, can
love
I
you
have your
all.
hand on?
You have one.
I know. I need a backup.
Oh,
This guy? No.
Yeah.
Oh, are you the dude on Twitter?
I-
You were the guy on Twitter, right?
Yeah, I'm that guy.
You know they started
I got the
releasing
leopard
some
print girl. I could trade you.
nice. You know they started releasing some smaller versions of their stuff.
I did see that.
I don't have any of it yet.
The actual art, though, right?
Yeah, I need to get like some more of their kaiju. What is it called? Gotuichi kaiju stuff.
Yep. I want that.
all right. Well, we're gonna wrap it up here. Thank you for watching, everybody. The next Fresh Final Live, I don't know. As far as I'm concerned, we'll probably do. You know, the next one's going to be at G Fest, 12 o'clock noon in Ballroom 1. I probably wasn't supposed to say that yet, but that's what the schedule says, anyway. But we'll see you then. If we happen to do another one before then, stay tuned. Stay tuned. Thank you for watching. Don't get weird at me because I'm getting my face closer to the camera to close.
We'd better do another Fresh Final Live before G Fest, dude.
I
All
concur.
right, so there you have it. So we'll schedule another one before G Fest because Kyle said so, and that's enough to motivate my
That's the
ass.
bottom line.
What's that, Rob?
So that's the bottom line because Kyle said
And
so.
that's the bottom line because
Bam.
Kyle said so.
Bam.
What?
Sparkle.
Oh, this was the point where we're supposed to sign off.
Oh, how do you do that?
I don't know.
I don't know.
So we're just gonna stay on. Hi, folks.
Fresh back, right?
I spilled the beer before we went live and things like that.
It is.
Because I was actually, let me tell you a quick story, and then we're going to sign off. was having technical difficulties. My computer decided to say, "Fuck you, I'm not going to work," and I couldn't figure it out. So
He was literally on the floor doing a turd tantrum.
It's not working. I don't know why.
I was about to put my fist through my laptop.
No, I'm not going to restart it.
No, it wouldn't work. And did I have to restart it? No. A piece of shit is a piece of shit. I need a new computer. If anybody's wondering why I don't do videos anymore, it's because my laptop's a piece of shit. Okay? And I need a new
Donate to the Fresh Vinyl.
We're gonna have you should have a jar at G-Fest. Please donate.
It's gonna be a small jar.
The Rich Iso Fresh Vinyl GoFundMe.
Yeah. Can we do a Kickstarter for him?
You can
We
actually.
need to get David Dobko on microphone.
Kyle, get that started.
No, I
Get
don't
a
know.
Kickstarter. Don't tell him.
Like I don't have enough shit to do.
Hopefully he gets it.
Yeah, I'll just add that to my list.
No. Don't listen to Brendan. He doesn't know what he's
No,
talking about.
please, yeah, please. I would say never listen to me, but in this, yes.
No, shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Everybody, thanks
Bye,
for watching.
Fresh.
I'm sorry, I just started yelling at the camera, but computers piss me off sometimes, and that's what's up. So, have a good night. Bye, Vinyl. Fresh Vinyl. We're signing off. We'll see you in the next episode. Bam.